Yeah, I'm excited to say that we know what happens on Ascent. And, yesterday we actually saw Yoru getting picked up by Team Illusion. And I think we might see that today on Zambi, maybe taking a book out of Illusion's play and see really, or take a play out of Illusion's book. Sorry, upside down my brain right now. But what else is upside down is we're seeing a Sage on the map of Ascent, and we actually haven't seen a lot of Sage yet. We did see it a few times on Haven, but on Ascent, it is definitely something that helps slow the enemies down.
Yeah, and Sage is actually also a very good pick on the attack side as well, because you see a lot of people use it sometimes, especially in that A main. They can kind of use that wall to boost themselves up over like an A main smoke and allow them to get some vision into the site. So I'm curious to see if we're going to see some stuff like that, because, Sage isn't necessarily out of the meta on Ascent. Used to be a lot more picked, I mean, like years ago, but still you will see some teams running a Sage here and there. So I'm interested to see if they're going to just kind of be employing the same sort of things that we have seen teams in the past use, or if they're bringing something new into it. That being said, we do have a zero duelist comp for NIX, so that's a very interesting decision here. Zero duelist comps on Ascent have been more and more common as the days have gone on, but I always am kind of a little nervous for teams that run zero duelist, because it's very hard on your attack side to take the space that you need. So I would anticipate them to try and take a lot more rounds on defense here, but when you're up against a team like Ookers, who has an insanely fast-paced and strong attack side, it's gonna be very difficult for them.
And I agree, but maybe these guys are just Counter-Strike players, and I say that because of the KO pick. And if you play the game, then there's not a boost of mobility that you really get there with KO, but there definitely is a boost of how you can play it, and it's gonna be down to that man as it's trying to pick it up here. But look at what we got so far. A big push coming forward, lots of damage being dealt by Sophie and Joey, and Sophie's gonna get two, but they're both gonna get gunned down eventually. Ookers off to a great start here, but the fact of the matter is that they're getting gunned back by Hydro, looking for that DPS, looking for the damage possibility, and there is going to be a spray and a headshot. Last man standing is going to be, of course, Huso. Who's going to be the man who gets the pick? And now we're going into round two. Defenders winning it just barely.
A very fast round coming out for round number one, and I really like the way that turned out. Both teams just kind of read that the fight was going down in mid, and so the trades just started coming through almost instantaneously. So I think that's going to be a little bit of a sign for Ookers, because normally they have tended, a lot of the opponents that they played in the past have given up the mid space very easily for them, and so I think they're going to learn really quickly off the bat here that it's going to be a bit more of a battle if they want to take that mid control. So it's really going to be, do they decide to keep going with it, or are they going to try to change things up?
I think what we're going to be seeing here is just a little bit of a back and forth between the two. Again, we know what Ookers does on the map of Ascent. They like to play it extra slow, waiting out that util before a incredibly fast re-hit and smackdown as a possibility. But let's see if that's actually going to be good enough here with everybody now going forward, trying to find out where is Joseph going to get this first pick. He is forcing up the Marshal, which is incredibly risky, just for the fact that, in close quarter combat, you will get pushed back here. But Ascent, a map known for its corners and known for what's nearby, he's looking around and trying to find the man on tree. Of course, he might actually get the timing down here, unless we see a swing and the non-hit from Soapy. Very risky, but Joseph now looking to run it back, run it down. I love the slight one-way there, but of course, Hulu and Chill, he's anchoring it down, getting a clean shot onto Joseph and onto Kai. Beautifully played, and here we have a little bit of a heal as everyone looking to rotate around and try to find some more damage, but you gotta always make sure not to get swung on. Spike is now down. Sophie ready for the re-hit, but there is going to be Pawn getting one before getting dropped. Zambi, last man standing. He's locked in. He's shut down.
Yeah, I really like the play there from Ookers, actually. They kind of set up for the A hit, and, they were just kind of waiting for Joseph to get some information for him. That's exactly what Joseph did. He spots two over in tree, so I think that's a pretty easy, immediate sign to Ookers, like, hey, there's probably 3 people on site here, so they try to send it back over to mid, but unfortunately, I mean, NIX, they just... They knew exactly what that meant and immediately just started crunching them in mid, and the whole play fell apart. They're only able to take one gun out of their hands, but it's not really enough on these these anti-eco rounds. So now NIX, they're going in with an operator in hand, round 3 on the hands of Hulu and Chill, so they're going to try to swing this over and win this bonus round, which is not normally something you see. You might see that op wait until round 4 before they actually come out, so they're definitely investing a lot into this round.
There's a lot to invest here, though. You know, the amount of credits that they had to put forward on the attack, they did lose last round. And because Joseph bought that Marshall, he is forced to now buy the hero rifle. Not a lot of armor remaining as he now pushing forward. Of course, these attackers, they need to start picking up the pace. The fact is, they are facing off against a team without a duelist. So if they do really well on attack, their defense is going to be golden, and they're going to just clean up the game. That's the perk of this team composition. And the last time we saw Ookers face off against somebody who lacked a type of agent, it was against Illusion, and they forgot flashbangs. But you know, things could happen here now that they are pushing forward. And of course, we're seeing the lane push coming out. Joey ready to swing it down. The nade now coming through. Not a lot of damage yet, but let's see this happen. Of course, everybody now moving forward. It's going to be a big defense here with 4 anchoring the site. But look at what we got in mid. It's going to be the Chamber trying to do some damage, but he's not connecting a shot. And Hydro will re-swing it. Pond will get the wall bang. But now it's a 4 against 4, but there's no control on the defensive team. Incredibly hard to try to push it back, but 15 seconds remaining. They got to get right onto the site, and that's where you're going to see the Rays start moving quick, moving fast. The wall bang coming out from Soapy, doing a little bit of damage on that Omen. But only 5 seconds. Spike is going to get down, and Pond, he has to anchor this for his team, but unfortunately, he's just going to die for free. And these defenders, this is their bonus round, and the fact is, they now have 2 Vandals in their hands from Kai and Pond's death. I do like this, though. A lot of heaven push coming up, and a little bit of damage from Soapy on a Joseph will cause another attacker to go down. This bonus might be a bonus to win, with Cairo popping it out and doing some damage, but there's Soapy and Huso getting the shot that they need to, and you gotta hand to them. This is a bonus round 1, and I have yet to see NIX play, and I'm loving what we're seeing so far.
Oh man, that was actually such a really great round from NIX. The way that they set up Huso to just kind of put the barrier orb in between, you know, like the stairs and the CT entry point in B site, it allows the rest of the team to funnel straight into the site so they can just contest it with every single player on their team. And we saw the effects of that. It forced Ookers out. They didn't know what to do. They were forced into mid, right into the hands of Hydro and Soapy, who are just ready for that potential mid push. And it forces them to go back around all the way through A and probably expend a lot of utility trying to clear that. So obviously really deep set plays for NIX here, and I really love what we're seeing so far.
You know, I love what we're seeing too, but Soapy getting Pond down, that is a big position. And Hulu, there goes Cairo. I mean, the off in the hands, and what a shot, perfectly timed onto Joseph. Now Soapy ready to swing, ready to get one, and the last man now down. Flawless round on round 4 by NIX, and that's because they did shut down the economy quite well, so it was practically another round 2 simulation.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much an easy round for NIX to take away there. You know, they have the gun differential. They're obviously in control, but now the momentum is starting to really snowball for them. We can see they have so much money to work with, and if Ookers don't find an answer for it soon, I mean, they're just going to keep snowballing into more and more economy. It's going to be so hard to slow them down. So Ookers, I think, need to rethink their usual fast-paced kind of play style here, because I don't think it matches up very well against what NIX has brought into the server today.
Yeah, definitely something that needs to push them back, but you gotta hand it to Zambi there. They've been so consistent with trying to get some info for their team, but the real problem we are finding is that they're just not getting their 1v1s won, and Soapy is popping down. The fact that this team doesn't have a duelist, I said at the start, this KO needs to pop off, needs to do some real DPS if they want to win it, and they're doing it. They're 8-4 with Hulu getting another nade coming out, not a whole lot more, but here's Cairo about to push right into the op, and Hulu and Chill is going to just shut them down so fast, with now Hulu ready to go again, but there is Kai and Joseph's time to shine. This is a 3 against 3 retake onto that B site. Again, we know how Ookers plays on the post plant, and now that Kai has an op, this could actually go over to this round here.
Yeah, but we got to keep an eye on Joseph as well. He does have that Nightfall available, so there's a really good chance of stopping power on this potential retake here. The question is, do they decide to invest it into the round or not?
Wow, what a pick, but there it is, a trade coming out. Huso, last man standing, going for a little bit of a wall to get the high ground down, and that's a swing. Joseph very low, trying to get the re-hit, and here is Joseph with the swing, and what a shot from the Sage. You don't really always expect the Sage to pop off like this man is, but the fact is, he is 5-0 right now.
Yeah, and the Sage is actually, you know, it can be kind of an interesting pocket pick because people aren't really used to playing against Sages that much anymore. And the way that Huso has been utilizing his utility in order to change a lot of the verticality in these duels that he's taking, I think has been throwing people off a lot. The fact that he just jumps right into sight there and just goes straight for the defuse, I'm sure absolutely rattled Joseph. So NIX stay up on another round, and now Ookers, I mean, they have a lot of ultimates at hand, 1 point away from the showstopper. So even though the money isn't looking super tight for them, there's a very good chance that they could take this round just off the back of all of these ultimates they have available to them.
Yeah, and you got to try to pop some ults here, especially since right now these attackers, they've been building it up for a long time. They do have the Tour de Force getting popped, but the one thing I will mention is their economy. It looks okay, but two of them don't have full armor against an op. That means that they can get taken down pretty easily here. Soapy, this is where you like to shine. Little bit of damage trying to keep them at bay. Soapy now knows that there is going to be two there, but they actually break it beautifully just in time. Soapy's ready for the flashbang. He, of course, still has the ultimate available, and if the KO's got the ult, they might be able to take this, and there is some util now pushing forward. Of course, we are gonna see Soapy getting one. Hulu and Chill getting Zambi and Pond, but there is the trade. I mean, Hulu and Chill, you know, right before the game, he had to fix his mouse, but looks like this man is rocking it right now. And it's just something terrifying to be the last man standing. He is going to try to bait him out to use the util, but that's going to be a pick for Kai, but it's only going to be one. Unfortunately, not able to hit consistent shots, only good for that single blow.
Yeah, I mean, NIX just really dominant in this half, and I just want to highlight, because you pointed out Soapy has been really bringing it on for the team, and I really like the way that he's been playing. He's just been doing a lot of shoulder peeks, just trying to get the info, but the biggest part about it is once he identifies where the hit is coming in, he's throwing in all kinds of utility to try to slow that down. And if you're a team like Ookers, when you really just depend on your ability to, you know, break up the play and get into the site, when there's players like that that have that stopping power, it really throws a wrench in your game plan, and we could see that happening to Ookers now.
Yeah, the wrench in the game plan, definitely something powerful here. Of course, we do have Cairo wanting to swing in and do some damage. You gotta try to shut down Huso, and I don't know if Huso is going to want to lose his life, but I don't think he's going to be available to lose it. He's been so consistently getting these frags, making sure that he's doing so much with it, that here comes a push from everybody on the attack, and they're not actually getting anything. Finally, they push right into the op, though, and Hulu and Chill is going to take out Kai again. So much damage dealt. I mean, NIX, they're undefeated right now, but so is Ookers, but NIX is really showing why they're undefeated in this game. With now Huso, is he going to be able to check his corners? It looks like it's going to be Joseph giving it up, and Huso now getting his first death. This is still winnable for these attackers, but defense has 4 ultimates for the retake, no matter where they go with 45 seconds. This is an eco, and they're scared, Disco.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're in a really bad position here because now they've had to give up all the map control that they've worked to fight for with only 30 seconds left in the round. They don't have all the tools that they need to re-clear these angles. I mean, NIX is in complete control of this game. Now, if they do decide to go over towards B, there's a good chance that they can get the spike down at the very least because it's really just Joey here trying to hold this down, but that might be all they need because he does have that Nightfall available to him and a lot of utility at his disposal as well. Only 12 seconds left. They're going to have to make a move.
They're going to have to make a move here, and Cairo ready to go in. He is not able to connect to anything. Lots of util, but the spike, it's late. They're not going to be able to get it down, and that's the round over.
Wow.
That's kind of the way that it goes, and the fact is, if they don't kill these players, they don't really worry about it. There's not a lot of money they get anyways.
Well, you can tell that Ookers is really scrambling against this composition. I mean, this is just kryptonite to their playstyle. I mean, look at the stopping power that they have on the side of NIX, and we can see the effectiveness of it. Just one barrier orb is enough to break up a play so much, and by the time they actually find a way to get through that wall, Huso still has 2 more slow orbs to throw out. So Ookers, I really think they could benefit from a timeout here. They need to try to talk things out and figure out how to work around this because the utility is all working against them in their specific style of play.
Yeah, and right now their specific style of play is just consistently pushing back any attempt that is here, and this aggressive push is going to get 2 kills down for Kai. Beautiful job. That's the first big play we're actually seeing out of this team here, and Joey getting gunned down again. Kai, if anybody's going to keep his team in the game, it's going to be him. He's at 9 and 7, the only man staying positive, while his team's kind of lagging behind here, but I think we might see him try it again, try to go for the forwardness. Of course, Hulu and Chill with that operator in hand. Does he have any idea where the raise is? And he does it. Hulu, that's going to get him gunned down. The spike planted over on that B site in the last man standing, Hydro. But, you know, Hydro, he needs to try to get this going, or is he just going to get dried up? Can we see that happen? He can try, but he's not going to. A flawless round. Hopefully, we're going to be seeing a little bit more from these attackers, but Attack has no more ultimates, and that is 5 ults on the defense.
I mean, first of all, a much needed round for Ookers to kind of try to stop the bleeding there a little bit. But to be honest, I mean, it was just lucky. You know, Kai comes up huge on the 3K there off the fact that I think NIX just make a little bit of a risky play, and we don't see them do that very often. So Ookers is able to kind of, you know, reel it in a little bit. But the thing is you're still down 7-1, and NIX have built up so much momentum. They still have all these ultimates to work with here. It's not over. They're going to have to, Ookers are going to have to keep trying to find ways to shut this down. And if NIX just don't make any more mistakes like they did in that round, then I have a hard time seeing how they're going to break through this defense.
Yeah, and if they really want to break through the defense, they're going to have to play faster. I'm surprised. You guys have the duelist. The other team doesn't. This is when you just need to go. You got to flex the fact that you know how to build up a team composition, but maybe team comp doesn't matter nearly as much as these play styles, with Hulu and Chill trying to go for that shot. Unfortunately, not going to connect it onto Pond. But, I mean, here's the thing. Hulu has been so consistent that missing one shot won't be too much of an issue. He's going to TP all the way back around, leaving nothing inside of mid. Of course, we do have Cairo wanting to make some space over on that B site, while the team over on A doing some damage for the defenders and making sure to anchor that back. And with the big cap push happening, this is where Hulu really shines. He's waiting it out. Kai is going to take out Joey. Again, Kai is the guy to try to push him back, but that's going to be a collateral. Hulu and Chill saying sit down to both Joseph and Zambi, and he's ready for another one. He knows Pond is going to be on the right-hand side. He sees the tip of the gun, but it ain't painted orange. That thing could still do some damage. That's going to be Hulu, though, getting one, and he's now down to Cairo. Let's find the push, and maybe the plant, but there is Hydro getting Cairo. There's the pick, and here is the plant. 15 seconds, 3v1. Can Cairo clutch it? Here we go. Cairo anchoring it back. Can we see him try to get it? He gets one. He swings it out. Needs to get these picks here. Needs to do it for his team, but he only could get one. He would have to ace it to win it for his team this game, and that is just so sad. Again, we're just seeing a little bit of a diff here from NIX versus Ookers.
Yeah, I mean, we're just really well played from NIX. Their fundamentals are just so strong. Hulu is just an insane site anchor in that site specifically, you know, just getting 3 and slowing it down so much. And, you know, Huso just making sure that he's not being, you know, too undisciplined. They make sure that they can close that round out. Even though Cairo just has a lot of heroics into that round, you could just tell that, I mean, NIX is such a well-oiled machine that they, almost every single play that they have has just been executed flawlessly. So they still have a couple ultimates available, you know, at their disposal from the shadows, and a nightfall in their hands. So 8-1, it's not over for Ookers yet. They could win out the rest of this half and try to keep things as close as possible, because I mean, the way it's looking, NIX's big strength here is going to be the defense. They need to try, you know, Ookers need to try to get more on this attack round to kind of put them in a little bit of jeopardy for when they're on their attack round.
Yeah, when they're on their attack round, I mean, they just need to keep this going. Their defense has been so solid, but Ookers, what's going on? I'm not seeing what we normally have been seeing from them. We've seen 3 games. We have yet seen NIX play. If NIX has been doing this the entire time, I'm surprised that they have ever gone to a game 3 before. I mean, with Hulu and Chill ready to swing it out, Kai, the other chamber, trying to find out if he can make some space for his team. It's still risky. So much info needs to be gathered on the map of Ascent before you can hit a site. That's just a fun fact for you. But here we have a little bit of a push and a little bit of a shutdown. Hulu and Chill taking out Cairo. Kai ready to try to push, and There we go. He is going to get one. Of course, he's going to get two before getting gunned down by Huso, and Huso is the guy to get the trade. But here we go. Hulu and Chill gets Joseph down 2 against 2. This is where we see the Sentinel now trying to be here. Of course, the Nightmarish trying to make a little bit of Scary Cats pushing in, and look at that fake out from Huso. These guys are just playing in tandem. Pawn being the last man alive does not know where Huso is, but now they've made contact. But will they make the connection with the headshots or the spray down? Who's gonna hit it? Who is the better gamer here? Huso's clutched this before on the same side, and he is gonna get it again. Clean headshot. He knows how to put his crosshair exactly where he's got to aim it, and always clicking away.
Yeah, I think that was a really good adjustment from Ookers as well. I liked what they did. They had a very slow default, and they tried to draw as much utility as possible from the defenders. And that was a really good play because that utility has been, you know, the thing that's been slowing them down ultimately. So I like the game plan there, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, I mean, you have Hulu and Chill just anchoring every single site that they go to. Is always good for at least 2, it seems like. And even though it was scrappy and they, you know, they still lost the round, they managed to make it a lot closer than it has been in the past. So if they can kind of keep on that momentum and kind of on that same game plan, I think there's a really good chance that they can win out the next 2 rounds of this. Otherwise, we could be potentially looking at, you know, 11-1.
Yeah, I mean, 11-1 definitely a possibility for NIX here, but I mean, with Kai trying to now just back it up with the tour de force, very impressive, very important that they keep it going. One thing I will mention is, you know, they've been able to take good mid control from this team, Ookers, but when Ookers is not in mid, they're losing rounds, and that's all that there really is. They've been able to do a lot of damage, but the second they have to get hit A or B, it somewhat falls apart. Joseph, he's ready to swing it down, and Hydra doesn't care who's ready for him. He's going to get himself 1 pick, and that's the controller down. So it might be worth it only losing the fade. And I think that the attackers, they need to hit something soon. There's only 50 seconds on the clock. Not a whole lot of info gathered yet. With a knife now down, Soapy, he's ready to try to anchor this. He thinks that Alana is pushing him. Lots of util dump coming out here. And if he overdoes it, they might be able to lose it, but can we see what's going to happen? We got Cairo pushing forward. He needs to slide around. He's got the ultimate. He's got everything he needs to push it. And of course, the ult, it's going to connect right onto Joey. And unfortunately, Joe is going to be hit down. Huso, last man standing, getting 2. There we go. Now, there is going to be a retake potential here. It's about how can this chamber Kai anchor it down. He's missing one of his shots. He needs to re-hit this, needs to not allow a double-digit start of the round. Of course, we do see the flashbang popping off. It is gonna get 1, but Kai, he has to now stick to the Vandal. He can't use the tour de force here. He has to try to get this man. Hulu and Chill, he's pushing forward. He's at the stairwell waiting to swing it. If he gets timing here though, he might get gunned down, but no, he does not get timing. He is the timing. He's the man who knocks down this site, and he's going to swing, but he's going to go down. Last man standing, Kai. Close quarter combat, does not spot him, but the swing, clutching the round. You got to hand it to Kai. He's the only man keeping up with the enemy's NIX right now.
Yeah, I mean, as you pointed it out, Kai is just having the game of his life right now, but surprisingly absent is Zambi, who we have seen, you know, in the past with Ookers be a very important staple in their gameplay, and he's just 1-9 right now, obviously not performing that well, and I've always thought that that was like a really important part of, you know, their game plan. He's obviously, his utility has always been on point, and I'm not sure if it's just Zambi having a bad game or if NIX has just been really effective in just kind of shutting him down. But because of that, I think a lot of their game plan has just continued to fall apart. So Resurrection online right now for NIX. This could be the round that they could use it the most and help them swing the round over. But geez Louise, as I'm even saying that, NIX are just completely tearing apart Ookers, and now it's just down to Zambi, the man himself, in a 1v5.
Yeah, and you know, I think you kind of jinxed it. You said that, you know, Zambi hasn't been doing a whole lot and that they might need a resurrection. But now we're actually seeing Zambi pop it off, do a little bit more, and the resurrection now coming out. But there's the flashbang going through. But is he better than Huso? He is right now. This is why you don't say the game's over until it's over. But Zambi, he's stuck and he is down. beautiful attempt from these players. I mean, if you can be consistent and have the pressure, remember, this is worth about $700 to first place here. You need to try to win the game. And if that pressure isn't enough to make some diamond level plays, you're going to be like just shut down. And NIX is such just consistent gamers on getting picks. And now that the switch is happening, this is where we're going to see the shift. You mentioned it at the start of the game. No duelist could make the attack side a little bit different.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the thing about these no duelist comps, right? Is that when you start out on defense, you want to bank up as many rounds as possible, and 10-2, that's a pretty gigantic gap. So even if they are going to be hurt by having no duelist, they only need to win 3 rounds here. And when it comes down to the pistol round, your rules don't really matter quite as much. So if they can bank this round, then they might be poised to just shut this down 13-2 in the end.
They might be able to shut it down. They just have to win this round right here. But Soapy is the duelist that gets people onto the site. He's holding the flashbang, holding the W key. Huso getting 1 pick on. And this is where we're going to see the bomb try to get planted. But this is where Pawn kind of succeeds. But no, he is not. Usually, I mean, the whole theme of the day today is that Ookers has completely been washed up. They've been pushed out of this game. And I think NIX is just showing dominance here.
Yeah, I mean, this is how the mighty have fallen, right? I mean, we've watched Ookers on Ascent time and time again, and they have been so dominant. And right now, they're just being made to look like they're children by this new team that nobody has seen yet in this bracket. Obviously, they've been blowing through the upper bracket, but we can see now why. 11-2 for NIX, and meanwhile, Ookers have just failed to find any sort of answer to what's going on here. So a little bit of a force up for them, as I think is necessary, and we'll have to see if it pays off for them, because right now it's really do or die.
It's a do or die game with it being 11-2. And I mean, is it do or die, or is it just roll over and die? There's not a whole lot you can do here anyways. The options you got are win a thrifty round or lose. There's nothing else. There's no chance that, you know, because they had to force up here. They win this round, they might be able to buy. But if they lose it, it's a double down, and that's going to be round 12 and secure 13 for Team NIX. You know, and I'm not a kind of guy to say that it's unwinnable, but a 9-3 is considered difficult. This is, what, 10-2?
Yeah, and I mean, look at the stack that they have over towards A as well. So this is a good opportunity for Ookers to try and get this, but that all really comes down to whether or not NIX is going to hit A. And you know what? I think they started to smell something fishy in the air, because they're already leaving and they're setting up for this B hit where Cairo is all alone with a stinger in hand. And guess what? He just got spotted. So rotation probably coming through from Ookers here, but is it too little too late, as it looks like NIX is just poised to hit this site?
Yeah, I think they just want to keep it going. I love the positioning from Huso. That wall, just being able to push himself on top of that box. But there's Kai and Cairo getting a double kill down. 12 seconds remaining. Because these attackers have been so patient, they might run out of time here. And now Hydro has to get the spike down, but he's gunned in the back of the head. But it doesn't quite matter what happens this round, because now we have the buy round for the defenders no matter what. And Huso, fortunately, last to go down. But buy round for these attackers here, it's risky. They want the thrifty, and I think you said it, all or nothing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's only 2 rounds left to go for NIX. And here's the thing, you know, people like to talk about comebacks a lot, and I'm sure anybody out there has ever heard the term fake comeback, but that's the thing. When it comes to Valorant, you can just bank up an insane amount of ultimates and just win the round off of the back of that. And the fact that NIX only has to win 2 more rounds, they can afford to let this round go if they really want to. But it's a dangerous game that you play when you have that mentality, because you have seen teams come back from deficits like this before, and before you know it, you're looking at 11-11. The question is, do Ookers have what it takes to make that happen?
11-11, and I mean, I think Kai's answering maybe to that question with Soapy. He's the duelist. He's got to go, and he's going to get gunned down by an actual duelist raise, and so is everyone else. Joseph gunning it down. Here we go. This is, of course, going to be a save round here for these attackers no matter what, but now it's going to be their buy round. They get rifles. They try to push this site.
Yeah, so this is really what it's going to come down to. That being said, Ookers does have a little bit to work with. So even if, you know, NIX come away with this round, you are staring at match point 12-4, but there is still a shot. But I think that if you're Ookers, you just can't let that kind of thought seep into your head. You have to win every single round from here on out. You don't want to give them even an inch to work with. And that can be scary because it means that you can't take a lot of risks, even on rounds where maybe you should be taking risks. So we'll have to see how they decide to play this one out and whether or not they can keep this ball rolling.
I mean, Kai's reaction time there was not good. He still got the pick though, and I don't think they expected an op to just be walking out very, very slow. What's the opposite of a pop and swing? Just an old man with a cane? Soapy, though, that's what we like to see. Getting himself one, Hydra immediately getting the trade, but let's see what can happen with now them holding the W key, trying to get some more. The defense, they're already getting a lot of picks, and the fact is they do have weapon advantage against these teams, but not anymore. You don't have a gun on Joseph. Why did he not drop it? I mean, bonusing here, very risky, but it is going to pay off in the end, and I think he's just going to keep it backing up. As long as he plays around Cairo, they have enough damage to deal with these enemies. The attackers, they're trying their best to keep it going, but this is Joey's time to shine. He needs to get some space. He needs to try to get Kai down, but Kai is going to just absolutely obliterate their internal organs, get him right through the groin, and Huso, last man standing, spike in hand. He's been able to clutch these, but with Kai's op, I don't know. But never mind. What a swing out in the crouch in the plant to go. He's going to actually pick up the operator in a 1 against 2, which I think means he's going to have to try a little bit harder here. The wall is going to go up, but it's not exactly the best wall possible. Of course, all of his teammates are too far for him to res them. He does have that op, and this is a risk. I mean, he's just toying with them right now. Last man standing, 1 bullet, 1 player. Can he find the shot? And he's not. That is Cairo's game, but he almost had that. I mean, I think they're trolling here. The fact that he's going to pick up an op to just go for some sick flicks instead of going for just the 1-taps that he has been consistently hitting.
I think the game plan there was to kind of put the barrier orb up lane and try to funnel them into stairs, but he might have botched it a little bit, and that probably rattled his mental a little bit there, thinking like, oh no, I think they can come through that. So it kind of shook him, and he ended up, you know, not being able to take the exact fight that he wanted to, but he was still able to come out with 1 in the end, but not enough to actually win the round for them. So now things starting to look a little bit dangerous. 11-5, they've only managed to win 1 round on this attack side, and they're back on an eco, 4 sheriffs in hand. Now, ultimates are starting to stack up. They do have the resurrection, so they might be able to employ that next round. But like I said, you give Ookers an inch, they will take a mile. So it's time for NIX to kind of start to rethink things and make sure that they can find a way to shut this down, because Ookers will run away with this if you give them too much.
And I think they might try to run away with it. The fact of the matter is that this is an op in the hands of Kai again. And yes, he was able to get gunned down. A little bit of a diff from Huso, but Huso also sold the round a little bit there. And yes, you don't like to speculate why players like to do things, but sometimes a logical play is a logical play no matter who's going to be doing it today. And right now, Joey, he's now anchoring it down with only a sheriff, and the slow comeback is kind of developing here. It's kind of developing. But again, on a skill level, we're seeing that NIX or NIX is doing such a clean job regardless of just no matter how they're doing it, they're pushing in as a team. And there is Kai. He's able to get 1 TP all the way back to mid. He wants to see if this KO is going to be peeking him, but he's got no idea. He thinks that they might be tiles, but who is really going to get gunned down today? Of course, Sophie going through, but what a shot. Almost hits it, but unfortunately, Joseph and the Rays stuck in the point here, waiting for Joey and Hulu to push forward. Joseph whipping a little bit too many shots there, unable to get himself 2, getting gunned down. Last man is going to be the Rays in Boathouse. Cairo gets Hydro, and Soapy gets forward, but he can't get any more. Hulu, last man standing, getting the pick, but he has to go for the plant, and Kai's just going to go around and get the body shot. That was an eco round, and the fact is, the attackers got on site.
Yeah, and they've been doing a little bit of damage here and there, just kind of whittling away at Ookers' economy, and now we're starting to see the effects of that. Cairo in a very tricky position here. He's going to have Pond buy for him, which is going to be available for him, but now look at the side of NIX. One ultimate away on Soapy to have all 5 ults, and this could be the round that they need to kind of just swing things back in their favor. A lot of really high-impact ults. You have the Nightfall. You potentially have the Null Command, as well as a Resurrection that you can use to just kind of stabilize once you get on site. The question is, are they going to be able to find the space that they've been trying to get this whole time? The defaults have not been terrible, but still they've been getting shut down by Ookers' aggressive playstyle.
Yeah, and I think Ookers needs to keep this going. If they aren't able to, they're going to just get absolutely destroyed. But with Hulu and Chill getting absolutely frozen by that weapon, we do have the res, though, and it might just be enough. But look at that. The Nightmare immediately to combo, but Cairo, he's not pushing with it because they know Kai is there to get some picks. Clean as ever, getting all these shots down. Let's see a little bit of a rotate coming out from these attackers if they can. But I don't know. With the res coming out, they might be able to keep it going. But this defensive team, they've already managed to get only one of them down. But, oh no, an over-rotation. B site is clear, and I think Joseph, he needs to catch himself there. Because if he doesn't, he's going to get gunned down. Let's find out with a little bit of a push again. Joseph, he caught himself. He's going to rotate back. I mean, they're waiting for this. That's what they're waiting for. The ult's now coming in. Joseph now ready to hold it, and he is going to get Hulu down. That's the second time Hulu's died in one round. Maybe try to get a kill next time with Joseph getting Soapy. Beautiful shots coming out from these gamers. And now, let's see who is going to be taking it. Joseph securing his own kill, making sure his teammates don't snipe it from him. But Joey, he's got this. He's ready to anchor it back, push these players. He still has his haunt, looking for that info. He's going to throw it right on over. And it is going to get himself one, and he's down. Beautiful round. I mean, I'm surprised. Is this a throw coming out from Team NIX here, Disco?
Now, I don't know if I would say it's a throw. I mean, I think they've kind of come up against a wall here. And, you know, there were some questionable decisions in a couple of these rounds, but I think that round was actually not bad from NIX. I think, but at the end of the day, I mean, the retake was so strong from Ookers, and they're able to get back in. And now, you know, they invested so much into that round. We talked about it going into it. They had all those ultimates, and they burned so many of them and still ended up losing. So that is going to be a good time for them to call a timeout. They need to try and figure out what they need to do differently here. And to be honest with you, I'm having trouble myself trying to figure it out. I think that the defaults they've been doing have been pretty decent. They've just been kind of falling prey to the hands of Kai, who has just been shutting them down on so many of these early engagements. So perhaps the answer here, Edu, is just a really strong fake. Try to sell something and make sure that you can get on the site, because with the composition that you have here, you know, it's similar to holding, you know, defensive side things. You just want to get onto the site and try to stabilize and make it, you know, as impossible to get in the site, which they haven't really been able to do. As soon as they get in, Ookers are just right behind them trying to disrupt that play.
Yeah, and this timeout, what that's telling us is that even, you know, this team, NIX, they're scared. There's no other way to say it. The fact that you're calling a timeout after losing rounds that you should have easily won, I'm thinking that Huso's getting yelled at for trying to farm TikTok clips with him picking up that op a few rounds ago. They could have gotten match point if he just stuck to the Vandal that he was so consistent with instead of going for the close quarter combat. I know that you said that he was trying to wall that off, but he botched that wall. And I think now he's put up a wall for his team to keep moving forward here, unless we're seeing a nice thrifty round with, of course, Hulu and Chill popping the tour de force. But how are you supposed to push if your initiator is dead to a nade? Oh, Cairo getting Hulu. No more ultimates again. The only one they got is the Omen, but what? Pond right through the smoke, gets double headshots down. You know, this team, they're ready to bring this back. They just warmed up, and here is Cairo getting the final headshot. Yes, it was against an eco round, and it's not that impressive to flawless it, but that spray from Pond through a smoke, no info, only heads.
All right, so this is it. This is the round, do or die. They have given so much to Ookers, and Ookers has taken it gladly. Now, gone from 11-2 to 11-8, 6 unanswered rounds for Ookers. And, I mean, I honestly, it's starting to get a little bit difficult, and it looks like they just want to try and put as much pressure onto B main here as possible. But if Kai is good for this, like he has been in the future, or rather in the past, it's going to be very difficult for him. So good 0 point to just try to force him off the angle, but now they need to find a way to get into the site. We've had the covers from Hydro to get into the back of the site, but the rest of the team needs to follow soon.
The rest of the team need to follow soon, and that is a hold of the W key. Zambi, yes, able to pop his ultimate to keep their util down. That means that this Omen cannot smoke this market point, and Hydro just has to go for the picks. Of course, right now, we are going to see Zambi now fall, and it's a 4 against 5 with Hulu getting Kai. This is where we're going to see a real re-hit here. We're seeing better shots, and Joseph able to get one before getting mowed down himself, and Joey spotting the head of one, getting the spray, pixel perfect right through the wall, and that's going to be Hydro getting the final blow and getting match point for his team.
Now that's exactly what we were expecting to see from NIX on this attack side, okay? It's not always just about taking the space, but for them in this specific team composition is about getting in the site and locking it down. They were able to do that expertly, and now they have secured match point, but only 4 rounds away from overtime for Ookers. I mean, it's not looking as hopeless as it was before. You know, it took them that 6 rounds to kind of close that gap, and really with what we've seen from Ookers on this defense and, you know, inversely NIX on this attack, it's looking entirely possible that Ookers could bring this back for an overtime.
And I think they're going to try to bring it back for an overtime, but you'd have to get 4 in a row. Yes, they have just gotten, 6 in a row. So 4 in a row, not a whole lot to ask for. But the problem, they're facing off against a team with actual economy. Yes, they have their ultimates. They got Kai's and they got Pawns, but that's not going to get you on the site unless Pawn TP's behind someone who's oblivious as to what's going on. Of course, let's see what can happen with a little bit of a push here, a little bit of a peek. Onto this point, we do have Chamber versus Chamber, Op versus Op, and they're both looking at each other right through this wall. But who's actually going to swing first? And that's the real question.
Yeah, I really like that they're just kind of taking their time here, trying to get all the pieces in place before they decide to hit. But it looks like they're leaning into a really strong stack from Ookers here, so this could fall apart really easily.
Yeah, Ookers strong stack. It's just about how they push forward though with Soapy now wanting to make some clean positioning. Can he find himself on? Hydro is gonna get one, but Pawn and Joseph gunning them down. This is a 2 against 3, a 1 against 3 with everyone getting gunned. Huso last man standing. Get yourself a TikTok clip. There's 1, but there's 2 more standing. Can you find them today? The spike is unfortunately down right outside. I think he might be able to pick it up unless Kai has something to say about it. He's done this before to Kai, but there it is. The reaction time finally built up, and that is a great round for these defenders.
Yeah, and it's starting to get a little bit dangerous for NIX here because unfortunately, it's been very much a round on, a round off type economy for them since the very first round. They have not been able to stabilize anything, and they also haven't been able to do enough damage to Ookers to kind of try to slow them down. Ookers have been building up quite a bit of economy, and now we can see they are opting to pull out this double operator setup, which, in a lot of cases might seem like a good play, but we have seen Cairo kind of falter on his op play before, and if you're looking for retake capabilities, double operator setup is not what you want to have. So their main goal here should just try to be to make sure to keep them completely off the site, because if NIX has a chance to get in and secure the site, it's going to be really difficult for Ookers to take it back.
Yeah, I mean, Zambi here, he does have the weapon advantage, but now he doesn't have anything. A noggin shot down, the headhunter hunting the head, and now Pawn is the last man standing on site. He's gonna try to anchor it, but that's 1, but not 2. Hulu and Chill is there for it. There is gonna be a res, but Kai, with his operator, has been the prospect that they need. We, of course, need Kai to do a little bit better now, but it's a 3 against 4. And let's see, can we see a wall bang? Almost. Oh. That was nearly there. Of course, right now it's about how are they going to push in. They have the showstopper, and if any time is to use it, it's going to be right now, but they don't know where this push is coming from. Anything is game, and 2 of them have ops. You can't retake with that kind of gun, so the showstopper will be coming out, will be dashing, will be getting 1, spots another, and there it is. Last man standing is going to be in tree. Soapy versus 2 nades. Little bit of all the shocks, but Soapy, can you try to clutch this up? You cannot, with Joseph gunning it down, and that's going to be double digits earned for the defense.
Wow, an incredible retake coming out from Ookers, and the last two alive with the operators carrying them both into the next round. So they're going to decide to stick with this, this double opting. It did work out for them that time, but I think it was really off the back of Cairo's showstopper that allowed them to pull that off. I don't know if you can replicate that, so it's a little bit of a risk going into this, but 12-10, they only need to win 2 more rounds to tie this up and take us into overtime. But that being said, Hulu and Chill, he's picking up the operator for himself, and we've seen how deadly this man can be with that operator. So Nightfall available for them as well, 1 off from the null command. So is that going to be the ingredients that they need to finally close this game out?
We do hope so, because I mean, let's just find out if this game is going to end here. We're seeing a massive comeback that gets shut down, or if the comeback happens and we go into overtime with how even these teams have been, now that the economy, now that there's no ultimates, you're going to see a back and forth. I'm thinking maybe double overtime at the minimum. Let's find out, though. Of course, that's a big claim by myself, and we do have Joey. He needs to try to push this in, try to get some info for his team. He's got the Nightmare, and that's kind of the lead that they're going off of. Nightmare plus null command. Here comes one. Here comes a push. Cairo immediately popping the ultimate, but this is where we like to see. They predict that Huso is going to be on top of it, and the Omen now TPing on a site. He can hear what's going on, and he can see everything, but that is a spray and a half. Everyone's now down. It's up to you, Zambi, last man standing, to get game 1 in your hands. Or are you gonna get shot in the head like a zombie, Zambi? And are you gonna win this clutch? Let's find out. Hulu swinging it and getting it. Tour de force attackers taking game 1. Maybe it's a caster curse, but we're going right into game 2 here. And let's find out, are these teams available? Are these teams ready? Disco, how do you feel about that game so far?
I mean, it was a little scary. I'm not gonna lie. We were looking at what seemed to be a very dominant defense half from NIX, and they started to fumble a little bit there in half number 2, and they let Ookers get away with quite a bit, and they made that game a lot closer than it needed to be. But ultimately, they were able to close it out, and funnily enough, beside from the pistol round, the 2 rounds that they were able to win the most were the fast hits onto B. So they were luckily able to close it out. But next map is going to be Bind. And I'm going to have to assume, I'm not sure which team picked it, but if my guesses are correct, it's most likely going to be an NIX pick, because we know that Ookers love to pick Ascent. So interested to see what they have in store for us on Bind as well, because if they continue to be this dominant with, a 0 duelist comp, who knows what could happen on the map of Bind.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point that I like to think about here. That means that we're seeing the team Ookers lose their map pick, and now that we're going on to the map pick for NIX or NIX, it's terrifying. You got to ask yourselves, what is the game plan here? Kai did a great job for his team, but on a map like Bind, we're gonna have to see something different. I'm really hoping that Kai rocks the Cypher. Cypher on a Bind is actually a really solid pick. So if we see a Cypher, might change the direction of the game, might bring us to a game 3, but that's a big question, and I gotta find out, are these teams ready to go into that game 2, or do they need a little break? Need to find out if they got enough juice. Is Huso about to be looking for all these clips to upload to TikTok, or are we gonna see all of these gamers ready to go into the next one? I mean, let's just ask him right now and find out, but let's see who is ready to go. If they're not, we might be seeing you guys in about 5 minutes at Agent Select. But before then, let's talk about the map of Bind. Who exactly do you think is the best agent on this map? I love Fade and I love Raze personally.
Well, personally, for me, it's always just been Raze. Raze is king on, or rather queen, I guess, on Bind. It's always been her best map. All the tight corners, just play really well into the Roomba and the paint shells as well. But there is something I really wanted to point out, which is that we haven't gotten to see it yet. But in almost all of the best of 3s that Ookers have played, they have let Bind through the map pool. Usually, it's as a decider, but they haven't really banned it in the past. So obviously they have some sort of game plan. They do like Bind, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them surprise us going into this map of Bind. But that being said, if this really is NIX's pick, then they might have a really tough road ahead of them. I'm interested to see if they're going to be employing a lot of these fade raise combos. that you see so often on Bind, especially now Fade has just become so popular on Bind, or if we're going to see that really popular double controller setup with like a Brimstone or a Viper that has become a
Oh.
little bit meta, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I love how the meta has shifted into multiple controllers now. I mean, if it was the same game 6 months ago, we would have no controllers, obviously, because no one likes to play controllers in my ranked games. But obviously, we're also seeing just a better inching towards it. And I think Pearl has really shifted the meta because people has started or had started picking that up in the pro games. I've casted a lot of tier 1 Pearl matches, and that is kind of the shift in the meta reasoning, is because they noticed it's good on Pearl. And if it's good on Pearl, what else is it good on? And then people start testing and playing. And with the updates around Chambers nerf, again, there's so many little things like that have kind of tweaked it to the point where double controller really stand out. But speaking of things standing out to me right now, we're seeing double controller on the attack side. We got the Viper and the Brimstone.
I think that me personally, I favor NIX's comp over what Ookers is showing us now. I really do think that Viper is one of the more crucial picks. I mean, we talked about it going into this, that Raze, I think, is queen. This is her playground, but right behind her, it's got to be Viper. I mean, who can forget Nats and his iconic Viper performances really put her on the map for this map, and I think there's a reason for that, and the reason is that Viper is just really good at locking down sites, especially on the defense side, really having good control of hookah. And I think Ookers rather might be hurting from not having that Viper pick, as well as not going with the Brimstone either, which I do think is a questionable choice. Since the buff, this has been one of Brimstone's best map picks. His utility is so good on it, and we can't forget, you know, how valuable his orbital smokes are, and you know, sight executes, and not to mention the orbital strike, which can just hit so much of the map. So really interested to see if Ookers can keep up with NIX here, because I think NIX might have the better comp edge.
You know, I think they do have a better composition when it comes to the defense, not exactly on the attack. Viper on the attack, you're limited to one site, but you can re-hit that site as many times as you want. I don't really feel great about a Viper on the map of Bind personally. I much would rather have an Astra. Astra is one of the kind of re-hitting the meta right now kind of gamers. It definitely moves forward with it, especially her ultimate hitting both sites. That is crucial because you could get off the A point, you can wall off the entrance and the site for B as well. But let's see these hits with Hulu and Chill taking down Cairo, and a little bit of a push back from Joseph. He knows that he's lost himself his duelist, and it's scary to try to stick around for that fight, and it might get him gunned down. But let's find out what is going to happen now that we got Zambi rotating over, and all the attackers, they are huddled together, making a game plan, going hoorah before they want to hit this A site, maybe even hookah. Let's find out.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of an overextension there from the defenders, and I think they're going to be punished for that. But if Joseph finds himself a good timing here, he could actually disrupt this play. It's all going to come down to whether or not they're expecting him, but it looks like Hydro might be anticipating this.
But he looks away, and the second this wall goes down, Joseph's going to push it. He can't risk anything else, and I think he's ready to go. He knows that nothing's here, but does he know that everybody's in lamps? That's going to be a call. That's going to be a hit. Joseph now swinging it out, but is he too late? Is he not going to be able to get anything out of this? Just kidding. Wait, no! He misses the shot onto Joey! And Joseph is going down. Such bad timing on his part, but it's okay because we got Kai able to get one, do a little damage to the other. Flashbang now coming out. Hydro is blind. Zambi getting the spray. 2 against 3. Let's find a pickup today. What can happen with Kai now? Rocking that ghost, ready to go. We've seen this happen for this player. He's breaking all the damages. He got the headshots, but does he have the push for this man? Hulu and Chill. Of course, Hulu is gonna take a little bit of damage, and they're looking for the bomb plant, and they spot it. They also spot Soapy, but Hulu spots the left-hand side of you, and you're gonna get gunned down.
Boy, I really love that pistol round from NIX. I mean, first of all, they just wait for the overextension from Showers, which I personally would not have anticipated to happen. The fact that Ookers even did that, I think, is a little bit of a throw. But the fact that they just waltz their way into U-Haul, take full U-Haul control, and then actually plant, instead of planting for their side, they plant for CT and Heaven, and then just move into taking control of that, just totally flipping the script on the defenders and forcing them to retake the A site from such a peculiar peculiar position. So really good pistol round coming out from NIX. I'd love to see more of that, and a very interesting anti-eco buy from them as well here, Edge.
An incredibly interesting eco or anti-eco. I mean, what are we looking at? We're looking at just Huso trying to bonus it right now with a frenzy only, and that's going to give him enough money for an op. And I think we actually might see an op on this map on attack, mainly for the reason that Hulu and Joe wants one. It's kind of his favorite gun right now, or maybe Huso wants one because it's funny to hit shots on Rays with an operator flying through the air and no scoping. Is that going to happen? If it does, I hope to gift myself 5 subs. If it doesn't, I'm disappointed. But let's find out what's going to happen now with the push through Hookah into this Omen. And of course, he's the only one on B. It's a big anti-push here for these players, but this is going to spot Pond. He's got one. He's got a little bit, but the nade's coming down, and he's going down with it. Cairo, luckily, able to use the TP, get himself the pick down on a Huso, but the fact that you're going to die to a nade, a little bit humiliating. Let's see if someone else is going to have the same fate. The answer is no, with it barely touching the corner. Hydro and Joey gunning these players down, and it's the 2 against 4 with Kai going for the flank, but surprised he didn't actually push it up at all with that reload noise, and he's going to walk right into Joey's crosshair. There goes Joey, and here goes Cairo. Who's going to be taking it today? Is Cairo the pyro burning down the enemies, or getting burnt himself with a wall bang from a ghost hitting him for just enough to take him down?
NIX able to get out of that relatively unscathed, which is very fortunate for them because they did invest a lot into that round. It's not very often that you see them go in with not just 1 but 2 rifles. So I think the big idea there is that they want to try to set themselves up to potentially win this bonus and, you know, keep the momentum going in their favor. A lot of teams probably wouldn't be making that gamble because it can go sour for you so quickly, but NIX obviously seem very, very confident, and they've also had very good pacing in this map. I mean, they've really been taking their time, using their utility to suss out the positions of their opponents, and it's been rewarding them greatly. So a very similar round coming out here as a little bit of a fight over towards B long could set the stage for where this execution is going to end up.
And the execution is going to be Pond. His head down, absolutely decapitated down. The guillotine has fallen, and Huso is the man. The executioner ready for it, but Cairo trying his best to do some more than just 1. Unfortunately, can't against Soapy, but this is a 3 against 4. The retake is now coming forward, and Joseph is ready to get some info, try to find out who is going to try to win the round. Of course, with Joey buying this game, it's scary. This is a full, not even a bonus. Because the defense was able to take out a majority of the players, we're seeing full Vandals. So this is more so like a bonus round 3 and a scary push coming out from Kai, but that is a double kill down. He's ready for some more though, but Soapy on top of the box, the soap box, he's gonna shout from it and get himself 2 picks, find the last man, but the man, he's sticking it, and then he jumps off and ends his life to Soapy's hand. Beautiful attempt.
Yeah, I mean, they're able to get out of it, losing most of their rifles. But again, like I said, a lot of that investment came into round 2. It wasn't even like they had to buy it up for round 3. So really, they're in a great spot here. Even losing all those guns isn't going to be the biggest deal for them. Ookers, on the other hand, now in a very peculiar position. And Edu, you pointed this out before, that the team composition that they have is not necessarily favored in the attack side as much as it is in the defense side, but even still, NIX has just been completely dominant in this. And so now, Ookers, Stinger in hand, a Marshal, and a couple of Sheriffs, this could be very tough for them. They're going to have to try to hold down this hookah control because that's going to be one of the most crucial points of this map.
Yeah, that is going to be the crucial point of the map here, and with Huso wanting to buy that space, if he can't get the shots off on a Pond, which we know he can, if he couldn't get that, then it might have changed some things, but the fact of the matter is, Cairo, he wants to re-swing this, and let's see if Huso is actually going to be able to get Cairo. If he pushes forward, the frenzy will shred him, so he is going to rotate over to A. We do have Joseph guarding with Kai, and Kai will die, unfortunately, by Hulu and Chill. And Joseph, the last man standing with the Marshal, looking to find if he can get the trade out for his teammate, and he looks away. Bad timing, bad positioning, and a no-scope right on the Soapy. Can we see it happen again, or is he just going to get run and gunned? He is by Hulu and Chill, but 2 against 4. Let's see Zambi try to hit the floor. Who's going to shut him down? But Huso. Let's see it. No one's going to peek that Sheriff. I think Huso wants it, though. He's just swinging around. He's trying to go for the pop and swing. That's kind of funny to me, but Hydro gets it, and Cairo stands alone. Last man, Sheriff in hand. Huso's gonna get the pick.
Yeah, you know, I mean, NIX has just been executing all of these rounds so flawlessly. And one thing I do really like about this Viper pick on their side is that they seem to just set up the same utility over on A every single round. And because of that, I think it plays a little bit of a mind game to Ookers because, you know, you never know. Hey, maybe we don't hit A site. Maybe we just put this here, or maybe we come back and we hit it later. And I think that's caused Ookers a lot of trouble in deciding when they want the rotations to come through because they've anticipated the A hit so many times. And, you know, a lot of those times it hasn't even come through there. So now Ookers back onto a buy round, and we do have an operator in the hands of Kai, so he should be good for 2 ops with the ultimate as well into the next round. So we'll have to see if he can capitalize on that as NIX just very aggressively takes shower control here.
And they're taking shower control. They're wanting to try to get some more with, of course, a flashbang coming out, but it's not really going to connect to anything considering that wall of smoke. But Huso, he's ready to start a fire down. Can he find one? He can. He gets 2 with 1 spray. I don't even think he realized he got pawned there. What a play, but it's okay because we got Cairo now trying to go in here, but the ultimate from the Viper, it's going to be so hard to defuse that bomb. Any point you tap it from, this is where you need to do the nightmare coming out, scaring the Viper to try to move, make some noise, make some distance. And there we got Kai with that op, taking out Joey. The spike, it's going to be diffused, but that's an ultimate, scaring everyone right into Hydro. And Hydro is going to say, yo, I'm going to die. But Joseph getting 1, and Kai, there it is on a Soapy. How did they manage to retake that so cleanly with not a single death? Beautiful job from Ookers.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually so flawlessly executed. And the thing is I was admiring that Viper's pit because, you know, taking U-Haul control is so crucial in a lot of that, you know, B site retake that you see so often, or rather, sorry, A site retake that you see so often. And the way that the Viper's pit was deployed, it makes that very difficult. But Ookers, they really just have no care in the world, and they're able to just get in there and just completely aim diff them. And, you know, because of that, they were able to deduce exactly where Hydro was and shut that down, even though he burned the orbital strike. So a big investment from, you know, NIX, but Ookers get the much needed round, kind of try to stop the bleeding a little bit here. But now the tour de force has been activated for Hulu and Cho, and we've seen how demonic he can be once he's got that op in his hand.
Fire in the never mind with Cairo gunning it down. Now here's the party, and that's gonna hit nothing but a little bit of damage on the sky, and that's where Pond comes in. He's doing the damage. He's getting this down. Double Rosa ult coming out from these raises, but it's again a 2 against 5, and yes, we are seeing this team NIX have an issue. They need to push forward, and the comeback mechanics coming out from Cairo is big. But is it going to be enough against Hydro? Of course, a little bit of a push is all you really need here, but the dog stunning you, pushing you back. Of course, 2 pot shots, 3 pot shots. How are you going to use so much of your tour de force on nothing but blind faith? It's kind of risky. Let's find out. Are they going to rotate? They, of course, don't have spike down. They have it in their hands, and they can try to rotate to the B if they need it necessary, or they might wait for a little bit of a rotate from the defense anyways, but how are they to know? Ooh, here we go, and it's gonna end. The Cairo getting the pick, and Hydro being the last man standing. He's gonna walk right into Kai's op, but he is seeing the arm and getting the cleanest one tap, treating his Vandal like a guardian. Can he do it again? Answer is no. Cairo really picking up the pace for his team, being again that top frag.
Yeah, and again, this is exactly what Ookers need. They need to try to stop this momentum that, you know, NIX has been building up so much. And this is going to be one of those rounds, and you have to wonder, is NIX actually going to take the investment? It looks like they will. So they definitely want to win this round out, because if they don't, it's going to be very easy for Ookers to try and swing this back in their favor, and we know that Ookers can just run away with it. We've seen them do it in the past, and so maybe these aggressive A hits haven't been working out for them, so it looks like they just want to try to swing things over towards B, try to fight for long control here, because that's going to be very crucial for them in trying to take this B site.
Trying to take the B site. Of course, we do have Joseph here looking to find any more info outside of a dog going. I mean, you know, a Sky's nearby, but do you know that there's going to be 2 people backed up right behind him? I mean, the risk is here. Is the reward going to be found? We have Joey getting the orb, ready to pop the Seekers to push his team on a site. He might want to TP away, but the first thing is getting info as to who can be somewhere, because the Seekers are an info buy. If you don't have to use it, you're not going to, but you will onto A. If you know that there's only going to be 2 here, Kai trying to swing it out with the tour de force. Unfortunately, we'll have to back it up, and this is the rotate of the century. This is where we need to find a little bit of a retake here, because these attackers are going to walk right through, and Pine is going to prevent some of it to flow. Pine now going again, a little bit of a satchel charge to spook him up, and now knock him down. Here's another satchel, beautifully played, but Cairo and Kai, they are going to get the picks today. Last man standing, Sophie. Spike is down, and here is a little bit of a running gun, and there it is. What is that aim? Sophie unable to track that man down, but it's okay. It's against 3 to 4.
You know, I actually really like that play from NIX, and I think that could have worked in a lot of different circumstances, but I think the big fault there was that they didn't sell the fact that it was going to be a B hit hard enough in order to, you know, get the rotations to pull through from Ookers. And B, I mean, you didn't, when you pull that teleport off, I think you want to have the rest of your players that are set up for a potentially contact into the site a little bit more, because once they hit that teleport, it immediately says to the opposing team, like, hey, they are going A, and so the rotate comes through quickly. But the problem is they didn't have enough ground taken, and it allowed Ookers to just get right back in before they even got the spike down, you know, and set up to hold the site. So good round from NIX, but I think they need to work on some more of those fakes a little bit more. Now Ookers up advantage in the gun difference here, and you know, NIX on a little bit of an eco here. The best case scenario, just try to do some damage, I suppose.
Yeah, you definitely want to do some damage. You gotta rock it, you gotta pop it, you gotta push in if you want to win the game. But I gotta mention, I mean, Pond here, he's been so aggressively pushing up that I think it's really winning his team the game. But you also have Joey. He's got the Sheriff, and he's looking to see if anybody wants to peek him today. And of course, Joey's got this. He's got the dog, but he is going to get bit and stunned. So looks like the dog's stunning the dogs. He is spawning out where this guy came from, but he doesn't know that there is going to be 2 more. Blinding Zambi. Zambi, you got to anchor this down, and that's going to be a pick. And it's only going to be 1 with Huso getting the other one. Let's find out. Joseph, are you ready to push this back? A little bit of a dog, a little bit of a stun coming forward. And there we are. Spike now down 4 against 4 with the weapon advantage still in the hands of the defenders. But with the close quarter combat, doesn't matter what weapon you got. That's a one-way smoke. Good luck, Cairo. You got to get past it if you want to win it. I love the Viper now. I lied. Maybe I was wrong. This is what we love to see from Joey. Can he actually push forward, though, and get these picks? Of course, he has to allow these players to push up if he wants to get any damage, and there's not a lot of util they can do. And this is where Joseph gets down, but Kai, he's on a 2-piece, and he needs to get 2 more. There's a little bit of damage from Pond. He isn't able to get it. It's a thrifty round coming out.
That really good round from NIX there, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of teams know this, but some teams overlook this. Of when you're hitting either the B or the A site, showers, or rather long and showers, are going to be the 2 most crucial areas to take control of respectively. And the part of the reason why they were able to take that B site so well is because they were able to challenge you know, Zambi over on B long, who has been getting consistent information for his team and been able to hold that down. So I would like to see them kind of replicate that more. They have all the tools they need to take control of these areas, and, you know, consistently B site has been the weaker site for them. So if they can continue to just set up here, take control little by little of these areas, they should be able to get out onto the site relatively easily and then hold it down for their team. And, you know, if they are able to do that, then Ookers will have a little bit tougher of a time trying to get back into the site, even though their retakes have been looking very strong. So very good round here from NIX, I think, to just kind of slow things down, maybe draw some utility out and decide where exactly they want to go, because we can already see they have not contested showers at all here.
Yeah, and not contesting the showers, definitely a scary position to be in. But look at what we got from Huso. Obviously, he has a little piece of util, but it's not going to be enough. It is going to get some info, but no damage. And right now, this team needs some damage if they want to win. Yes, they got a thrifty round last round, but if they're not making some moves like this ultimate, getting this man down, that's how you do it. Beautiful job, Hydro. And now Huso, you got to anchor it. But do you know where the man is? And he panics. The Cairo's going to get the spray on 2 people, but does he spot the last one? It's only 2 people on site. The op in the hands of Hulu is going to get dropped. He needs a Vandal to try to win this. Can we see it happen? Of course. We have it. He needs to push forward. He's got himself the spike, but in a 3 against 1, there's so many odds against him. In the satchel, though, that's going to be 1, but not 2. I love that Cairo sacrificed himself for his team to take it back.
I mean, that was just a really well-played round, I think, from NIX. A really well-placed orbital strike. Unfortunately, Huso just fallen short a little bit in the aim department, and Ookers were able to capitalize on that, using the teleporters to their advantage and getting in there to try and support their teammates that were stuck in hookah. So, very good round from Ookers to kind of try to turn that back around. And again, we can see that the momentum is starting to shift over towards the side of Ookers here. And that's actually very good for them, because now they have the showstopper online. So, they should be able to utilize this to shut down any plays that I think NIX is going to try to employ here, should they decide to go back over towards the A site. Now, B site has been relatively weak, but because of their, Ookers' ability to rotate as quickly as they have been, and as effectively as they have been, it's been making it very difficult for NIX to hold on to B site.
Yeah, incredibly difficult to get in there, but with Hulu getting a shot like that on the Zambi, it is a big position to go. And of course, now we got Cairo. He has his ultimate, and Kai's getting Soapy down, but Cairo, he's not able to actually throw that nade pretty far. Bouncing around, we got Joseph getting 1, and Hulu and Chill will be getting picked off. This is not great for the attackers. The showstopper now coming out on Cairo. He's gonna find Joey, but he's not gonna find the damage, but he is gonna get the headshot regardless. No showstopper necessary. There's gonna be again another big brain play. Last man standing in. What a shot from Huso from Hookah. Let's see it happen. Huso, satchel charge going through. He's gonna do a little bit of damage to push him off. Another one coming through, and he's gonna get the headshot. Nades now coming. Last piece of util. Is it enough? It is. Beautiful
Wow.
Clutch. He just has to throw utility and get clean headshots. This man is excited about winning every round like that.
That's the Huso that we saw in map number 1. He's fallen a little bit short, I think. I mean, obviously still top of the scoreboard, 11-7, but definitely some faltering in some of the plays that we could have seen him made, but he definitely just reactivated. So NIX take a very much needed round to kind of try to keep the lead growing as much as possible. And now, with only a Nightfall available for the other side, NIX, they have a lot of ultimates at their disposal, and only 1 off from the Viper's Pit here, which is exactly what they could need to kind of secure the site here if they manage to get into A.
Yeah, imagine trying to get into this site with not a whole lot of info, but with Huso doing as much as he can. It's about how you're going to be able to push in. And Kai, he's taking so much damage from that nade, but Pond is immediately able to get some damage down. Hulu taking out Cairo, and Kai wants to avenge it. There's a little bit of a blind, a little bit of a teleport coming around, and he's going to TP right into Huso's crosshair, clicking on his head, and Sammy's now getting 1. This is a hectic round. Everyone back and forth to down 2v2. It comes down to the wire. Can we see Joseph really bring it back for his team, with Soapy now walking right into the crosshair here? Of course, the spike is not planted, and this is a big push coming around. There is Hulu with that op. He knows where 1 is, but oh my god, Zambi! Look at that 180 onto Hulu. Beautifully played. This man is a one-man army.
I mean, so this is something we've seen from Ookers, right? Is that they really thrive in these high-paced, high-pressure type of plays. And so I think if NIX wants to try to turn this around, win out this half for their team, they need to try to slow things down. I would love to see them use a little bit more utility, slowly take some of these positions, play for a little bit more information before they try to get onto the site, because we know that Ookers can really handle those explosive type of teams. And the thing that was so dominant for NIX in the past was that they were able to counter Ookers' playstyle, but now it seems like they're just fitting right into it.
Fitting right in is going to be Kai getting Hydro, and he still has his op and the Tour de Force, double sniping it. But look at Huso, very aggro, trying to get it in, and Kai is going to get down to Joey. This is where Pond kind of tries to thrive. Unfortunately, there is going to be a Viper Pit down in his way, but what can we see from Huso? He is anchored, but they know exactly where the man is. Huso's ready for the push, and he's going to swing out. Here he comes, and there is going to be the gun down onto Pond. Of course, I don't know if he's going to go for the gun. With everybody now pushing it forward, he's so low, though. And that is going to keep him alive. If he walks around, he might be able to get a heal from Joey, and I think that's the game plan. Joey now getting Cairo down, and Zambi ready to keep pushing forward, doing some damage, doing some info, but Soapy has a judge, and he's going to judge you unworthy. Last man standing, Joseph. Are you ready to end this half with a jumping, bunny hopping judge? What a play.
So, I mean, this is a very good place for, I think, NIX to end on this first half. Being up 7-5, we talked about how much better their comp seems to be on defense, and I think it will thrive here. I mean, now that you have Soapy, who, you know, very big brain, has some very smart plays, I think it's just going to fit very well into this Viper role here on the defense side. The question is, how do they decide to utilize them? And it looks like right now, the main goal of this toxic screen is just going to be trying to lock down Showers and hold Showers control as much as possible, while the rest of the team seems to maybe just look more towards just controlling Hookah. So definitely a good understanding of bind here coming out from NIX. The question is it going to pay off? Because we've seen how well Ookers can just play into these very fast-paced plays, and it's really just going to come down to whether or not NIX is going to be able to handle it and slow them down.
Yeah, NIX, they need to try to just stop the aggressive plays that Ookers has been quite efficient on. And the fact of the matter is they do have advantage right now, and the fact that they have two controllers, definitely scary if you are going to be the attackers. It's hard to push in when there are, of course, the Brimstone and the Viper on the same site at that. But if it's not going to get smoked off, what's the point of the double controller? You got to control the space, and you got to stop this push. And here it is. Is the aim only going to be the way to go in the retake the possibility? It's a risk. I'm not sure what's going to happen now. Hydro looking for some damage, and of course, a little bit of a push coming out, and that's going to get one down. Kai able to get Joey, but Huso immediately with the trade. These attackers, they have the site control, but they're also looking to find some more damage down. Huso there, Hulu getting pawned, and what a beautiful shot. Can we see that happen yet again? Huso, he's clutched these before for his team, but now he's got all three of his members with him. That's gonna be Zambi though, one and no more, with Huso getting the trade before traded. Soapy, last man is gonna be Cairo versus Soapy. 1 against 1. He's looking for it, but the nade, he's just going for it. The nade's gonna come out, scaring the man to push, and Soapy's still gonna clutch it up. But there's not a whole lot of time remaining, and look at that play for the time. Soapy, good effort, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good try from NIX there, and I think they did every single thing right. They were able to hold on to hookah control for so long, and it allowed for the rest of their team to kind of get in a position for the retake. But unfortunately, Ookers, their playstyle is just so explosive that once they get into the site, we've talked about it 100 times, once they get in there, it's so hard to dislodge them. They're like a splinter just stuck in your leg, and that you can't let them get into the site like that. So I still think it was a good play from NIX, but they're going to need to contest more of this map if they don't want Ookers to just completely run them over. So now Ookers, all 5 Spectres across the board, a little bit of investment from NIX, and it should be a pretty easy round for them here.
Should be an easy round, but look at these TPs coming around. Every single defender just left B site, and I don't know about that because it's a B hit, and Sophie walking right into the crosshair of Kai. He's going to get absolutely demolished. And here is another TP rotation. Cairo getting gunned down by Hulu and Chill. Clean shot from the chamber. But can he do it some more? Hulu and Chill. You know, there's another word for that, but I think he's about to demonstrate what it does with a nice body shot onto Joseph. Can we see it happen here? I mean, he's looking for it. He only has one headhunter and one head to hunt with a swing. And, of course, no shots fired. That's going to be Zambi mowing it down with Kai, and they are going to take it, but the last man standing, Hulu and Chill, is unfortunately going to get Hulu and Chilled. Now attackers tying it up 7-7.
Yeah, and it was a really clean round for Ookers as well, and a little bit of an accidental satchel toss there in the beginning of the round, but they only lost one gun there, so that's okay, and it looks like Kai's just going to hand his over to Cairo and just kind of bonus off of this ghost here, so not a terrible plan for them. That being said, we're seeing a little bit of the effects, I think, from Soapy not letting himself die to the bomb in the first round. It was a little bit of a questionable decision, and now we can see why. He can't afford a rifle. He has to go with the Judge, so that's not always a bad thing, because Viper with a Judge can be very dangerous in this hookah position here. We're just gonna have to see if it's actually gonna be able to pay off for Soapy in this position.
You know, you got to make sure that it's going to be able to be paid off, and Soapy has been quite consistent in getting his team the win no matter what he does, except for, you know, sometimes the Vandal, he likes to spray a little bit above the head, but it's okay because we got Kai here ready to fight Hydro. One winner takes all, and you know, attackers, they need to get some bread going on. This is, of course, the bonus round for them, and if they win this, they actually could turn this game around. And you know, it's a pick for the century with, look at the double molly, double nade. It's not going to connect to a whole lot, except Zambi taking what, 20 damage or so. And here we go, Hydro taking Joseph down. Pond, he's got himself a little bit of util, a little bit of a push potential, and he's just waiting it out, perfectly timing it. Can he get himself 3 down? Blind's coming around, and unfortunately not going to connect for Zambi's side. But Soapy, you've mentioned his name before, but is he going to come up clean and clean out Cairo? He is. Clean shot coming around, and they're ready for it. But Huso, he's doing some damage to Kai. Hydro getting Zambi. Last man standing is Pond, and it's just going to be one after another. A flawless round on this game, and this might be the momentum that we need to see coming out from this team.
Such insane coordination and chemistry coming out from NIX. I mean, you can tell that these guys have been really drilled working together for a very, I would assume, at least a long time. I really love the fact that Soapy kind of comes through on that flank, is able to win that duel out with the classic, and then utilizes his mollies to just kind of zone anybody that's trying to hold U-Haul, allowing for the rest of his team to not only secure half, potentially stick the whole thing, but also get into a position where we're able to clear that out without losing a single player. So Soapy's going to carry this judge into the next round. He's just going to take it right back into Hookah, and it looks like they might be going into his loving open arms if they do decide to push this Hookah angle here. Meanwhile, Joey just getting all the info over on Long.
Bring them down.
All right, and here's the push coming out. I know that it's a little bit scary here for these players. Let's find out. How are they going to be able to get in? Of course, lots of damage dealt so far, but these attackers are just holding the W key down, and they're going to get one. Joey manages to get a trade before he's gunned down as well, but there is Kai shutting it down for Soapy and making the advantage known. Huso has the showstopper, and he's ready to stop the show. Can it actually happen, though, with everything he knows? He's going for it, but one satchel to push out doesn't actually get him around the corner, and he's got to go, though. Again, 7 and 8. We're RC and Hydro looking for these picks. Cairo around the corner. Kai inside of Hookah. And Pond waiting to use some util to try to get the blind. The second they push out, he's not going to be able to see too much. All right, here we go. Huso made his way around the corner, but he can't get Zambi down. Not able to hit that shot is definitely something that is questionable, but it's okay because all you got to do here is save if you're Hydro. You know, they do have money, but there's no point in trying to fight it. The bomb's ticking down.
You know, I talked about this before and how crucial I think it is to kind of try and slow down any pushes, hold long control over on B, and I think we can see the effects of that here because they've had really no trouble holding Hookah down, but Ookers, they don't seem to care about that. They just flood right in through long, and they get the site so quickly that whoever ends up being in Hookah, whether it be Soapy or Hydro, they kind of just end up being isolated in this very peculiar situation where they can't really do much except just try to hold it down, and over time, I mean, you have Kai coming through on the lurk who's just able to kind of delete them out of that position in the future anyway. So I would like to see more, aggression towards long. I'd like to see them try and hold that down. They have to know that Ookers playstyle is just this very fast style, aggression, and yet they haven't tried to make any adjustments to slow this down.
Haven't made any adjustments to slow it, but the one thing that I will mention is it's hard to slow down Cairo's aggression. He's been so consistent in getting their team on. He's going positive 13-12 right now, second on the scoreboard, and that's kind of impressive. You want to make sure that you could consistently be the entry for your team, and that's the power of the player. But with Kai here, he is going to get gunned down by Soapy, and that might be enough for them to try to rotate. I guess we're going to see Cairo pick up a different Vandal because, skins equal wins here. That's the real thing that you want to do. Don't risk getting headshot for any reason. Risk getting headshot by Zambi when Joey now pushing right through the wall. Soapy trying to get this down. Luckily unable to get blinded going right through the smoke. Beautifully played by himself, but this is scary. Already one pick on either side with only 38 seconds. A might be getting hit, and that's where you got Hydro and Huso against Cairo. Everybody ending with the O, but who is going to take it to overtime, or is it going to be over for these players?
Satchel out.
Here we go. A little bit of push coming forward, and not a lot of info, but what a pick from Hydro. He's gotten Cairo, and now he's ready for Joseph, but putting down the stim is going to do the opposite. It's not going to invigorate you. It's going to get you mercerated. And there we go. Huso going for it. Can we find it happen? It's going to happen with Joseph getting it and Hulu getting the pick on a Zambi. A 2 against 2 retake with the attackers incredibly low and Soapy on the flank. The last time Soapy's been on the flank, he's been able to get himself 1 or 2, but this is where he's got to shine. He's been spotted and he's got to push. It's a very just patient position here. He knows Hulu's got his back, but is he going to actually check this corner? He is. He's going to get one. He's got his ultimate. He's got Joseph. I think he's just going to try to stick it down and trust in Hulu and Chill. And that's why you trust in the man. He's gotten the pick.
That is a much needed round, I think. Sorry, I thought for a second maybe they weren't defusing it. I didn't hear the tap. I was a little concerned. Yeah, much needed round for NIX there to try and stop the bleeding. And you know what? Here's the really important thing I want to outline is that they did actually make that adjustment that I was talking about. Once they started to push up long, we could see that Soapy rotated over, started throwing a couple of the snake bites out there, and it absolutely disrupted Ookers' play into long. They weren't able to be as aggressive as they wanted to. They were denied the space, and it forced them to rotate back over into the hands of Hydro, who was just holding U-Haul ready for the push, and because of that they were able to disrupt that play. So I want to see more of that coming out from NIX in the future. They need to try to identify where these pushes are going to come and try to find ways to slow them down, because once they do that, Ookers look a little lost.
A little lost indeed, and Joey's now trying to back it up. Of course, he's looking for some re-entry, but he's only going to re-enter the spawn in roughly a minute 20 seconds here, with everybody now holding forward, trying to get in. That's going to be Huso. Who's going to be the man to get the shots? You are. Let's see it happen again with now Zambi holding that W key on the flank. Is Hulu and Chill going to get gunned? Of course, Hydro. He's able to get one more, but Spike is down. It's a 2 against 3, and Pon wants some more. He's going to get the headshot with the flanks. This man is getting pushed in, but Huso, another clean flick. And last man standing, Zambi versus Huso. Raze versus Sky. Only looking up today. Zambi getting around it and is going to get the clutch. Good attempt from both sides. A very narrow game.
Wow, an unbelievable round from Zambi there to just kind of keep his team in this. I mean, Huso came in, absolutely demolished everybody on the site, but Zambi was just able to do the Uno reverse card with only 20 HP left and still able to bring it out and keep the scoreline tied up. So, very close game, and it's really important for Ookers to win this, obviously, because, you know, we came into this and NIX looking really dominant on Ascent, but now Ookers, they've got a lot of really great ultimates at their disposal here, and it's a question of whether or not they decide to invest all of these into the round, or if they're just going to wait and see what kind of damage they can do. Now, they do have a little bit of an obstacle in front of them, as we can see the way that NIX has set up here for this B site hold. They've been anticipating these B hits, so they don't want to get run over anymore, so they've made a really good adjustment here, and I think Ookers are starting to catch wind of that.
Definitely trying to catch some wind, but is Hydro going to be able to bring his A game here? He's looking for it. He wants it, but it's risky. I mean, Cairo, you got to try to push into Huso, and Huso knows, though, if he's going to get pushed, he's going to get gunned down, and I love what we're seeing here from the Razes. They're trying to get some info, both of them using nades, and just saying, I'm not going to allow you to push. We're going to go back and forth, and right now, got Cairo. He's trying to get the flank going forward, and let's see this happen. Oh, that's a clean shot coming out. What? He didn't even see Joseph, and he still got the pick. Kai able to get Hydro, though, and this is such a risk that you need to take. Of course, we're seeing some really clean gameplay here, and this might be anything that they can do. I mean,
30 seconds left.
What can happen from Kai? It's a little bit of a push, but Hulu and Chill, he's able to get 2, and that's going to be the final shot he hears. Of course, a little bit of a flashbang coming around. Kai jumping on top of bench, making a lot of noise. These attackers are on point, and this is where Kai shots. But what a shot! He no-scopes it, he wall bangs, and he aces it. That's what we love seeing. Kai is excited, his mouse movement, his heart is beating, and he gets those. That is what we need to see. A timeout gonna be starting from what we just saw from him.
Oh my lord, Kai has just been having a series of his life. This man does not ever stop hitting those shots. So really amazing for him to be able to pull that out. And I gotta say, that's a very important round from Kai, because the way that NIX had set up there, I feel like was textbook. They pretty much had a default set to push the rest of the attackers and Ookers into the side where, I mean, you have the most stopping power. You're pushing them right into Hulu and Chill, right into Soapy, and those are the 2 agents that you want, you know, people to push into, because you've got, first of all, the Tour de Force is going to slow you down. The Viper Wall, the Toxic Screen, is going to slow you down, as well as all of the mollies. So they looked like they were just potentially set up to win that round, but Unfortunately, Kai ate his Wheaties this morning, so they need to call a timeout and try and figure out what to do differently. But to be honest with you, I really like the way that they've been making adjustments here. I think it's just a matter of just executing it a little bit better this time around. So, do you have any thoughts on what NIX could be doing here to change things up?
You know, I think that what NIX needs to do to change it and why they have called a timeout is they have to really ask themselves, are we getting diffed here? And is it because, you know, Kai has really stepped to the plate? He's now match MVP because of that ace. Or is it we need to now find a strategy to play as a team? Yes, they're on the defense and it's hard to group up on a map like Bind, but if they start grouping 3 to the B for the early site, because they recognize every single time this push happens, we're going to get some picks. But Hydro, 1 HP, he might be able to get this push out if he got the timing, and he is going to get one. But that's a 2-for-2 trade so far this round, and you got to ask, who is going to be bringing this up at the end? Pond and Soapy, but look at this flank from Soapy. This is massive, but he is going to get spotted out, and I don't know if he knows that Kai's nearby. Can he try to wiggle it out? I don't think so. He's right on the edge, and he is going to get spotted, and Kai, he knows about it. This is going to be the push, maybe the aggression, but how are you going to push through? You're instead going to rotate all the way to A. Hulu and Chill takes out Kai, and the last two are there, and look at this, the read from Soapy. He might be just in time to get one, but he only can get one here unless Joseph might not be able to survive, and Soapy reads that beautifully. Oh, you gotta love it.
Wow, what a play from Soapy to rotate back around, and so lucky to catch them on the way out there. I was actually really concerned for him because you have to know when you're taking a flank against a chamber that they're going to have the trademark in that very tricky position that people just love to put it. So really good for him to just kind of be able to bring that back. And, you know, we noticed they didn't really make that much of an adjustment after the timeout. It looked like they're doing the same thing here. They're doing a very similar 3-2, a little bit of a risky play, just kind of pushing out. And I think Hydro, you know, kind of going for that kill might have spelled danger for them, but Soapy able to just kind of pull that one out of the depths and save the round for them. So we'll have to see if they decide to play a little bit more discipline this time around and just continue to fight for the control over here on long.
Yeah, you're fighting for that control there, and of course Huso, you know, this man is ready to go. He's gotten himself what he can do to push in, do some damage, but it's also about Cairo. It's really just always down to Huso versus Cairo every single round for that initial information, for that initial DPS. But he does have the ultimate here on both of the raises. Joseph is going to gun down Joey. The J name difference coming out for these initiators. And of course, Hydro now backing it up. He does have his ultimate in case these guys try to push through. I love the ultimate on Brimstone on Bind because there's just so many like very tight angles. And that is one of them. Octagon getting mowed down, and Huso, he knows that we're going to see a double. The showstopper coming through. He's going to aim at one, but oh, only one of the showstoppers comes through. People now pushing forward. They get a headshot from Kai, and that is going to be the end for Huso. This is such a neck-and-neck game, but remember, this is game 2 of 3. If NIX takes this, it is going to be over for the finals of the upper, and we're going to have to go to the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a lot closer than we saw in the first game. Ookers, like I said, definitely looked like they had a game plan coming into this, and now they only need a couple more rounds to close this out, and here's the problem. NIX, they're on an eco round right now. And so they have to pretty much concede this round, I mean, mentally, and set up to potentially send us into overtime. I mean, there's a shot that they could win this, but, I mean, Ookers on this attack side has been pretty consistently running them over, and a lot of the plays that NIX have been doing haven't been paying out the way that they want them to.
Yeah, definitely not been playing out how you wanted to, but the fact is, this is what you got to do. You have to catch him off guard, get the spike down, get the picks, but you're also incredibly low. This is where you're going to see Joey. You better have your heal because your team needs you to bring back the HP. But if he doesn't have it, I don't think that they're going to be able to win this. Unfortunately, he doesn't. He bought a dog instead. But they still have the spike, and this is, of course, going to be a 3 against 4, and that's the shots you need to hit, Hydro. Beautiful job. They can win this no matter how low they get down to. Maybe I misspoke. Maybe I cursed it. Or who's going to be cursing at the end of the round? Who's going to be the most frustrated player losing this today? Joey, ready to push. He's being so aggro with such little HP, and this might be the sell of the century. Huso and Joey getting gunned down. Hulu spotted, stunned, and now scared. Flashbang coming through. He's looking for it in a headshot from Zambi. Last man goes for it. Zambi single-handedly takes that back.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit of a throw from NIX there. I really hate to say it, but they had every reason to win that round. First of all, Joey not having the regrowth to heal his teammates up is very big, but the back of that aggressive play, it worked so well. I think they just got a little too greedy there, and they kept pushing them, and all they had to do was just wait for the rest of Ookers to try to retake the spike. They had the man advantage. Sure, a few of them are low in HP, but, I mean, fundies, right? Fundamentals, they could have traded them out with the man advantage they had there. They had good guns, they had rifles, so now unfortunately Ookers match point, and you know, NIX still have a chance to bring this back.
Still have a chance to bring it back. Of course, Hulu cannot see, and he's gonna have to try to walk out back into his TP if he wants to get the swing. A little bit risky, but luckily there's no one gonna be staring at him. But look at the attackers. They're just going back and forth. Again, what we're seeing from Ookers is a constant display of re-aggression all over the place. They're just moving constantly. And that's why it's hard to be a defense against that, because how are you going to defend against something moving so quick? You don't even know where they're going to be coming from next. But looks like Hookah is going to be where they're pushing forward, and that is a big push. Zambi taking out Joey right through the smoke. Perfectly timed by Kai, getting down Hulu and Chill. This could be the end unless Sophie has something to say about it. He's gotten this pawn down the wall. The last bullet he shoots gets Joseph down. This is a retake if possible. Can Cairo anchor Huso? Who is going to be pushing it? That's right. This Raze versus Raze, of course, joined by the Sky. Beautiful Satchel doing a little bit of damage, but there's Sophie able to get two. And here it is, Kai, 1v2. He needs to seal the deal. He's got to do it for his team, or we're going to see a comeback coming out from the team NIX, the team NIX, the team that needs to get the picks. Who's going to be hitting it today? Right now, Kai on the flank, getting one more. Last man, Huso, and last man gets it. Huso versus Kai. Beautiful job.
Oh my lord, NIX managed to stay in the game for just one more round, and one more round is all they need here, Edge, to bring us into overtime. Soapy, I mean, coming in with the heroic Soapy and Huso, I mean, they have just been firing on all cylinders. We've seen Soapy with these just like incredible rounds, and really, I guess the whole team of NIX has just been really coming up big. So lots of very interesting buys across the board here. I mean, they lost so many guns, and of course, NIX, they're going to be favored in this, but really, from what I'm looking at across the board, this could really go either direction. It's do or die for NIX here, or we send it into a map 3.
You know, sending this into a map 3, very important to go to, because map 3 is, I think, going to be on Haven again.
Yeah, and that's big. That's a big Ookers map. You know, they're very strong on that map.
Incredibly strong. They've won every single Haven map so far. So, you know, if NIX is playing like this and playing this evenly, the difference is going to be that Haven. But we said Ookers was going to be that good on, of course, the map of Ascent, and they turned out not to be. So let's not jinx it. But first, let's see, is this going to go to overtime, or is this going to go into game 3? Cairo going in and making his moves, getting the pick down on a Soapy. No more Viper, but they still have the Brimstone for the controller, unless Huso, he needs to try to get these picks, and he's going to swing. And there's Kai getting Hydro. 0 controllers left. You picked 2, you get none. Huso, you only have this gun. Last man standing. Kai's going to get even more damage dealt. Kai, he's already aced it once before. Can he get it again? Obviously not, but what's happening here? He's whispering a shot. He spots one. He's getting another miss, and the push is coming out into U-Haul lamps. There's going to be Joey getting one in the spray transfer. Beautiful job doing damage, but there's Kai getting the last, and it's a push. It's going to go into game 3. I mean, what are we talking about here, Disco, outside of game 3 on the map of Ascent? Tell us what we are about to see.
Oh man, I mean, Ookers just really activated in the last half of that map, and it shows. They were able to kind of bring it back, even though it was insanely close. NIX put up a huge fight, but now we are going to map 3, which is Haven. And if any of you have been, you know, following this tournament, you have seen a lot of Ookers on map 3, or rather on Haven, and they are disgusting. So, I mean, NIX has been putting up a huge fight. They look very strong, but again, haven't gotten to see them play this map. So it could spell danger for them if Ookers is allowed to play their game. We see them when they get into their attack sides, they're just so dominant. So NIX has a long road ahead of them if they want to carry this out and make it to the grand finals. Otherwise, Ooker might just breeze right through this and make it to grand finals, sending NIX down to the lower finals, for a best of one where they could be very easily knocked out by any of those teams.
Yeah, and speaking of the lower finals, there's only one left standing, and it's actually Illusion Orange. We casted them when they got knocked down there. We haven't seen them since, but they've been making moves, I guess. They beat not only Tetra Esports, but they also beat Rest is MVP, which Rest is MVP beat Operation Strix. That is insanity, because we might have seen an Operation Strix versus Illusion Orange rematch there. But the fun fact is, no matter who wins this, Ookers is the one who sent Illusion down. And I think we might actually see if Ookers versus Illusion Orange in that 1v1 for the lower bracket, that best of one game, that's going to be stressful for both teams because they both have been in that situation before. But right now, this game here, going into Haven, as you've stated before, we're seeing a lot of insanely solid gameplay coming forward from these gamers. But I don't know. Is it going to be good enough? Well, let's see. Are we ready to get into the next match? Are these players going to be ready? I think that they want a little bit of a break because this is a big game. This is who is going to lowers or who is getting thrown into the grand finals here. So everybody, we're going to see you in a little bit. So hopefully sit tight, get your snacks. We're about to see the best game ever. Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to the Agent Select screen. I am your host, EduCast, joined by DiscoCast, the finals of the semi before the upper bracket ends and the grand finals begins. And of course, let's find out what is going to happen with these picks. Of course, we're rocking Kai here. And I know that Kai on Cypher, he did that last time on the map of Haven, and it cost them the win. So I'm loving that we're seeing it again. But also, we got to talk about NIX, the people who just lost the game. What is the pick of the day? We're seeing Huso on Neon, and I know that's what Disco was going to talk about.
Yep, it sure was. But I wasn't going to overlook the fact that we do have Hydro playing Astra, which I think you and I might be alone in the world in thinking that Astra is the pick on Haven. I mean, her utility can just go so far, and it allows you to do so much. But we saw what happened to the last time a team tried to pick a Neon against Kai into his Cypher. It was a little bit disastrous, I think, for them. So you have to wonder if you're going to see a similar outcome this time around, or if maybe NIX has, the secret recipe for success here that's going to allow them to take this map 3. We've seen Ookers on Haven before. They're insanely dominant. They love to play this composition. And Zambi on Breach is just an absolutely different breed. So Soapy picking up the Breach for himself, not on a controller role this time around. So maybe Soapy's got some tricks up his sleeve himself.
Maybe. We're definitely going to have to see that happen. But right now, we're looking at Blind set up in mid, but it's going to be an A push, a big A push. Led the charge is going to be Huso, and a Neon to be the man to be aggressive here. Definitely an important position to go, and that's going to be a little bit of damage dealt. And Joey now having to back it up. He can't flash out quite yet, but he did buy his heal. I don't know about you, but I was a Sky main for a long time. Now I do controller, and now that man is dead. Good shots from Pine, but when you play pistol on Sky, you want to make sure that you get your heal. It just makes more sense to have your entire team stay at max HP because armor's not a concern, and that's kind of the goal. The dog, yes, gets you a little bit of info, but you got a Neon. Send her in. Don't send a dog. Flashbang coming out from this man. Joey's ready to swing it, ready to go, and can't we actually see it happen today? A little bit of a flashbang. All of the pushing coming out here. Huso able to get gunned down by Zambi and Cairo. But what are we seeing with Joey on the train onto Joseph? Can we have this go? We got Cairo pushed up right behind the box. A 2 against 4. And this Sky, unfortunately, is going to be stuck here.
Yeah, this is a very tricky spot for both of these players to be in. They can't really do much here. They're kind of stuck in sewer. They do have the spike enhanced. They could try to run it back, but a very deadly crossfire coming out. Joey's able to find one, but Zambi, we've seen this man do it so many times. He's just going to shut him down. He's going to get that round for Ookers. First round, very important one. And again, NIX, I have to wonder if they, I don't know, do they have a good game plan going up against this Cypher pick? I think the Cypher really tends to boom some of these teams. They had a very, I think a good effort there, but maybe not the best decision to decide to commit to A there. They did have the tools in hand, and at the very least, you want to try to get the spike down. So might not have been a horrible decision knowing that, all of the entirety of Ookers was at A to just kind of try to take it to a different site. So now it's their chance to try to do a little bit of damage here, as we can see Ookers just doing their very typical anti-eco round and just looking like they're just going to try to challenge B main here.
B main, it's the fastest place to push with close range weapons, so it's good to do on a round like this. But is it too good to do? It is. That is going to be pawned down. A weapon now in the hands of Soapy, and Soapy not rocking a controller agent this time. Instead, looking at Kai, flicking if the game lands heads or tails on his coin. Joseph getting Hydro down, and Soapy, he's just happy about this. But look at the retake potential coming out here. Of course, we do have Hulu and Chill with a great headhunter shot. Cairo getting Joey. People pushed off the bomb. But I think we're just going to see Joseph wanting to stick this, and Soapy able to get one down, clear his teammates back. Flashbang, though, and that flashbang misses. And that flash missing might have just cost the round there. Unfortunately for these players, they're not able to keep it going, and defenders will take it back. But an incredibly close round for the attack.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Ookers, that is not the outcome that you want to see. NIX doing a considerable amount of damage. They're taking so many weapons out of their hands, and now they get to come into this with 5, full kits almost. A couple of pieces of light armor here, but look at the side of Ookers here, Edu. Only one Spectre. They're not going to invest into this round. Well, nope. No investments, just the Spectre. A little bit of a stinger, perhaps, but it looks like they're just going to settle on the Sheriff. So should be a pretty easy round for NIX here, and I think a pretty smart play from Ookers to just try to keep their economy ready for round number 4.
You got to keep your economy built up and ready to go. One thing I will point out right now is the Marshall buy on Pond. He's been quite consistent hitting his flicks, and the fact that he's the solo man on C. If this team tries to push him, they might start getting picked off. We are seeing both Hydro, Huso, and also Hulu and Chill unable to get a pick yet, but this is the rifle round, and I think that's going to change real soon. We're seeing that little bit of a B grass push coming forward, maybe a garage hit, but you're going right against the Cypher, and Kai knows how to anchor this down with that Sheriff. And I love that he also can watch garage like this. This is perfect. No matter what, if he tags him, he's ready for it. But oh, he didn't tag it. He waited it out, and now he's just right behind him. But look at them, they're not checking behind, but the 180 jump shot from Joey. That's what you like to see. Clean shot onto Kai. No more Cypher today. And unfortunately, this is going to be a clean round for the attack. Unfortunate for the defense, but I think attack, they're happy about it. I mean, Pond getting gunned down. He was not able to do any damage. Looks like they're trying to get some info. They're going to spot one, but Joseph immediately gunned back. Hydro getting Zambi, but the only man lost is going to be that Astra, a team ace. I said, look at these players not have any kills, and they said, okay, one each.
It's actually a really good round coming out of NIX as well. I really like the way that they used the Trailblazer to kind of just, deactivate a lot of those tripwires, which are very crucial, I think, for Ooker, and just breaking up some of the plays that, an attack-sided Neon comp has to offer. So very good round from NIX, playing very diligently, not just rushing into things, taking their time, and just respecting Ookers, because we've seen what happens to teams when they don't respect a team like Ookers. They get rolled over. So now we're on to a full rifle round in round number 4, and this is going to be one of the most crucial ones. But Soapy already has that Rolling Thunder available to him, and Zambi only one off from his Rolling Thunder, and we've seen the kind of damage that he could do when he has been activated.
Yeah, his activation is online right now, but are they going to find his power button? Looks like Cairo's power button is going to get clicked. It's in your noggin, and so is Joseph. Hulu and Chill bringing it back. Brings chills to everybody, and that's the flash you want to see. Zambi now forced to back it up, but this is going to be an A hit. They just got all of the people being very aggressive on the defense, and the fact of the matter is that is a big throw coming out from the team Ookers so far, but a throw just means that it's up in the air, does not mean that it's going to land quite yet. Who's going to be able to take this? Soapy with the stun. He's got the Rolling Thunder built up already, and here comes a push from the man in heaven. We do have that Omen, and the flank is going to be Kai. Flashbang coming out. And there it is.
Ooh.
Kai getting gunned down by Hydro. I mean, they haven't been able to get a single gun down so far. And of course, Hydro being the lowest, he's the man that dies first on his team usually, but he still is able to be good for one. That's all you really can ask. And the stun coming out. Again, these attackers are happy. We're seeing a forced up save here, Disco. Do you think there's anything they could do?
No, I think this is absolutely the right play. I mean, it's really unfortunate that NIX is going to be carrying all 5 of their rifles into the next round, you know, and that's going to allow them to build up a lot of momentum. And I think really it just came down to whether or not Kai was going to be able to win that duel over in Sewers on the flank. And if he did, you know, we might have seen a different round come out and they might have been able to, you know, actually push into the site. But that being said, Soapy was pretty much ready for it. They had a beautiful trap play set up on A. So, you know, who knows what could have happened, but it looked like I think NIX was poised to win that round regardless. Best case scenario, they just take some guns out of their hands. So Ookers going to be pushed back on a little bit of an eco here. A couple of rifles in hand, but we've seen what they can do on these thrifty rounds. And if they decide to go for this play over towards C, they might be able to disrupt some of this and actually initiate a little bit of a pinch over towards mid.
You know, a little bit of a pinch over towards mid could be the game plan here, but with Pond being extra aggro, the opposite of where he was about 30 seconds ago saving, we might actually see him get 1 or 2. And if he could get the Astra down, that controller, if there's that controller diff, they might be able to take this back. Because yes, Kai, he's only got himself 1 gun. And he is going to pop a cage pretty early because he thinks there's more people rushing. But unfortunately, they're not. They're going to wait this out, and now they're going to want to re-hit it. And there's no trip setup yet. So, scary round for these guys. I think they want to try to use as little utility as humanly possible.
I really like that NIX is just respecting Ookers. They haven't just been going for these like very brainless neon plays, you know, doing a lot of defaulting, trying to get a lot of utility out of the opponents and also get information of their own. Now they're just going to be going back towards a rotation towards A, which we have seen them do a couple of times. The question is whether or not Joseph is actually going to be anticipating this and if Cairo is going to make this rotation over as well, because Joseph could find himself in a very tricky situation if he's not able to slow this push down.
Flashbang coming out, and Joseph is able to get Hulu, 45 HP, but he can't get Soapy. That's it. Cairo getting 1 before Hydro gets 2. That's what we love seeing. Last man, Zambi, joined by a flank in Pond. Who's going to be able to take it? Of course, last man in CT, last man on this side. And a little bit of a flashbang util. Again, these defenders, they don't want to use a lot of utility here, but I think they might want to now. They're trying to save up their economy, but winning a round gets the most. A little bit of stun coming out, and the blind, it's bad timing. Pond's able to get 1, but Zambi, if he jumps right out of this, it's going to be Graffiti gunning him down, and Hydro to get a 4-piece. Beautiful round coming out from the attackers. They're bringing this game back right now.
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing it really well. NIX has just been using a lot of their default to just kind of try to figure out exactly where everybody is, and it's been paying off for them because now whenever they hit the site, it's been relatively free for them. So I think Ookers needs to try to adjust. They need to try to figure out how can they counter these defaults and how can they use utility of their own to kind of force NIX into positions where they want them to be. Because as of right now, NIX is just free to play the game that they want to play here, whereas Ookers has just been at the mercy of it. So it's going to be very crucial for them into this round to try and find a W. So Zambi does have that Rolling Thunder online, as well as the Nightfall in Joseph, and we've seen what a deadly combination those two players can be together when they have those two ultimates online. So hopefully they can kind of anticipate where this hit's going to be and, you know, potentially shut it down.
A potential shutdown is the requirement of the day, but who is actually going to be taking this? Of course, Hulu joined over by his entire team, waiting for the aggressive peak. He's not going to get the timing down for Joseph to push up there. And Seaside, it's kind of the necessity to push with this. Of course, you do have Kai. He is waiting it down, waiting to see if anybody's going to peek it. And tagging the dog, kind of questionable. I mean, he still has his turret down, and that's going to spot 1, but there's the Rolling Thunder now pushing forward, and he's going to spot 1 and get the cleanest headshot down. Cypher counters Neon. You can't trip on these marbles. Let's see what's going on now that this team has lost their duelist, and Kai is also now down. A 1-for-1, a 4v4, a seeker now popped in, another one for Joey. Here's the ult, here's the Cairo, getting himself 1, doing enough damage to help with the other. This is a 2 against 3. The Nightmare's now pushing it. Now, that's Sophie gets 1, gets 2. Can he get the 3rd? Hulu sure can. Beautiful game.
Wow, I really like the way that that NIX just decided to forcefully, hold position in Garage. They just poured like almost every single player they had on their team to not just re-clear it, but try to hold it down. And, Ookers, they tried to counter it by activating that Showstopper and that Rolling Thunder to just retake Garage, but it really wasn't good enough in the end because the positioning was so strong from NIX that they were able to just recover and shut it down as soon as they got back in. So definitely looking dominant in this attacking half here. Now, we have seen Ookers play against, I think, almost the same exact comp and do so much better. So maybe NIX coming in with a little bit more of a game plan this time around, and I think Ookers need to try to find the adjustment here, or else they're going to continue to get rolled over.
Continuously getting rolled over, but who is actually getting rolled right now? It's Zambi to Soapy. That is a little bit of a breach diff. Here comes the op in the hand, oh no, Marshall in the hands of Joseph here. Again, this team cannot afford a whole lot for the defense. They're waiting for someone to swing out, but again, they're just getting picked off one after another, and the fact that they have lost one of the best thrifty players on their team, that's scary. And Kai, he does have the Sheriff, but it being Arcane, does it mean that he's got magical powers? Can he bring the game back, or can he get the pick? He's blind, he's gunned, he's dead. Hulu and Chill getting him down, and right, see what is gonna happen. Of course, Spike now getting planted. Pond looking to find a nice big pick, but I mean, so much damage being dealt so far. Cairo swinging out, spawning out too, knows that there are a lot sewer side, lets him now push forward. But is the sewer-sided people about to find another pick? We do see Joseph getting some bodies. Cairo on the flank getting 2, but can he get 3 more? He's going to need to ace this to really clutch the round. And there is Hydro getting the headshot.
An excellent effort from Ookers there to just try and get back onto the site and do a little bit of retake. But the problem is that NIX just looks very, by the books when they're playing on their attack side. They're not playing recklessly. They're using their utility to get so much value out of it. And they don't just run in like a lot of players might do on this, Neon's type comp. They're using their flashes to get as much space as possible and also converting that into information. And it's been putting Ookers in a very tricky position because they can't, Kai can't play a lot of these really ratty positions that he loves to play as Cypher on this map. He's just been getting flushed out by so much of this utility, and that's been a big part of Ookers' win con, especially when you're on the defender side, is Kai just being able to kind of maneuver around a lot of this map and find those very free picks. But NIX, they've been giving him nothing to work with.
Nothing to work with, but the one thing I will say about working with these players is the tour de force and attack. They're ready for it. Of course, the defense, it's scary. You have, of course, Hydra's ultimate, or Hydro's ultimate. You got Soapy's ultimate. You got Hulu with the tour de force and one away on Huso. And a real question, though, where has Huso been this game? He's kind of been taking a back seat. It's attack your Neon on Haven. This is where we want to see you kind of shine. But I think it's mainly just Hydro and Soapy getting all the picks. That's 1. That's 2, though. Cairo, what a player. Can you do it again? A little bit of a stun, but a lot of a push. Can Cairo get more? Satchel coming out to scare him, but there's the stun. Pawn getting the trade immediately. Last man Huso, I asked, where are you? Answer me. That's right, dead. Go to spawn. See you in a little bit.
Wow, I mean, Ookers really just taking advantage of the fact and punishing NIX for not really clearing their corners there. They have all the utility they need to make that happen. Unfortunately, they just happened to overlook it, and Cairo was able to come up huge with a couple of kills there and disrupt that play. But now, Cosmic Divide is available for Hydro. Rolling Thunder for Soapy. We've seen what comps like this can do when they can pop that Cosmic Divide and allow their Neon to just run in. The overdrive has been looking pretty crispy, and Huso just having a little bit of a slow start here. So this could be the round where he decides to activate, and there is the overdrive activated for him.
Overdrive activated, and here comes the info. Let's see this happen from Huso. He knows where the man is, going to tag him underneath him, but if he hit that, he could get the wall bang. He's going to try to get it, but unfortunately it doesn't happen. Can we see this go? We now have Cairo going in, holding W, getting a spray down. W key is what he likes to see. Last man ulting there, and he's going to take a lot of damage. But that being a lot of damage with the wall now going down, he is going to get picked down by Joseph in the last man, Hulu and Chill. He needs to get the spike, and he has to get past 5 people to clutch. I mean, this is a big comeback coming out around the side of Ookers. But if Hulu and Chill can get the pick onto Pond. It's winnable, and he gets it. Definitely a winnable moment. He gets 1. Can he get 4 more? He needs this, but does he need it more and want it enough? There we go. A little bit of a push, a little bit of a search. Does spot Kai, but look at this, just everybody gunning him down. Cairo able to get the pick. Hulu, beautiful attempt there.
I really like the adjustments that Ookers have made here, actually, because I think they've kind of recognized that the way that NIX's comp is kind of set up is to just be very aggressive, try to be explosive, get onto the site as fast as possible. And you know what? The thing about Ookers is that they don't really have the right utility to try to slow that down, especially not with the speed, the pace that NIX has been coming in with. So they've really just been trying to either have very, I guess, kind of ratty corners played, or instead just try to trigger those retakes at just the right time. That's exactly what we saw in that round as well. They let them take the site, they let them spend all their utility, and by the time they're getting in, still trying to clear everything, they immediately just burst back into the site, and Ookers has been so efficient in playing just like that. So now 4-5, a very strong rifle round across for both teams. The question is, can Ookers keep this pace going, or are they going to fall prey to this aggressive play style that NIX has been showing us so far?
Yeah, I mean, the aggressive playstyle from NIX is definitely doing a great job, but I'd like to see a little bit more of aggression. You know, if they just go mid every round, you know, it sounds like a throw, but honestly, it might work against this team composition. If you don't go where the Cypher is and you don't go where the breach is, you will win that game. The only problem is that they switch it up every single time, so you just have to kind of have a good guess at the start, and that puts you at a disadvantage. But this map is attacker sided, so I want to see them get at least to 7 here. Nice clean shot coming around, doing a little bit of damage, but they're going to rotate now. And I think if they hit that A, they're going to walk right into Kai's trap. And when Kai puts that trap down, fear is among these enemies. Can we see it happen? Hulu and Chill anchoring, making sure that if anybody's going to be nearby, they're going to die. Let's find out. Cairo now swinging it out, and there is Joseph getting the running gun, the pop and swing, picking him off on his teammates' entry. Now Kai, last man standing on site, waiting for his teams to push through. This is already looking good for the defenders now on the body count alone, and they still have so much utility on, of course, the breach. And Cairo takes out Soapy. Huso running, gunning. Can he pick it? He can't. Cairo gets the other, turns around, gets another. Can we find them? All of them are dead. Beautiful shots for these gamers.
Wow, I mean, Ookers just seem to have such a good read on how NIX is playing. You can see already, first of all, Zambi just showing us how good he can be on this map as the breach. The utility is still on point. He's always putting it in the right places to try and slow things down, try to disrupt those plays. And meanwhile, Kai, he's just finding so much value in his anchor. Now, of course, he's able to stay there and get so much information for his team to work off of, because after all, that's what Cypher is all about. But what I really love there is when they're rotating over, they are hyper aware of Hulu and Chill. They know that he's going to be there, and they're able to break that up. And that's such a crucial part, I think, for NIX's plan. They need to get that lurk through, and without it, things just immediately fall apart. So Ookers tying things up, it's a really important round for them to win here if they want to stay on top.
Incredibly important round for them to try to pop it off, and let's see if the pop off is going to top off the round. 6-6 might be where we're going with how even these two teams are, with a little bit of a rotate coming out onto the B, or maybe just looking for anybody to be over aggressive. Cairo, will you sell it or will you buy? Who is going to be taking it? Let's find out. A nice swing, he spots Joey. I mean, that's info though. They know players are grass. Everything these attackers do is together outside of the chamber. Chamber likes to lurk, and the rest like to do some damage. I do like the smoke onto the B, makes them kind of hesitate going through it. But no one else is on B, and the second we see this breach push through, it could spell doom for the defense. And that's going to be the Seekers. They're ready to go. The ultimate's coming out, and everything now pushing forward. Everyone's location revealed, though. They know it's a B push, and this is the retake. We got the flank developing from Omen. We got one in Link, but if they just take it to A, it's possible, and they're going instead the A-Link defense route. They get one. Kai gets Soapy, and look at that. They're turned all around, looking around and around in circles, and Hulu is going to get Joseph, but Kai, he wants more. He's got gotten one, and there's still some to go. Zambi joined with these players. Pond from the flank, he's been developing the entire time, ready to blind, and there it is, the push from Kai, getting himself 2 to make it 3, but are we gonna see some more? Last man standing, Hulu, and Kai gets the 4th.
Unbelievable. I mean, really, as we were watching that round, I started to think to myself, wow, NIX, you know, they really need to just start attacking this B site more, because it's become obvious, and I think it should be obvious to them that B site is probably Ookers' weakest site here. But the interesting play that they made there to try and fight and just, you know, plan it for A-Link and then fight for A-Link control, I think is a fun idea, especially with how Ookers have been rotating. But at the end of the day, you know, if you're going to take the B site, you might as well just plan it for mid and just keep fighting for that mid control. You have good utility for it, and the fact that when you don't do that, you allow players like Pond and like Kai to get in very aggressive positions where they can just kind of pinch in on you from either side of the site, and you end up being in a very tricky position. So NIX kind of throwing the ball a little bit there. So now this is their chance to try to tie things up, but it's looking really good for Ookers, who seem to have kind of figured out exactly how NIX, I think, is playing their attack side here.
Yeah, and they're playing it beautifully. I mean, what we got going on from these gamers is just a plant, but a little bit of a back and forth from it. Let's see, can they actually get this going? Of course, this team, they need to take this, because grand finals just around the corner. If someone gets sent to the losers bracket, Illusion has been dominating there. So you just have to ask ourselves, who really wants this more? And it's about who wants to try to fight Illusion again, because let's see it. Sophie now popping it down, trying to back him up. The rolling thunder, but Kai, he's already dropped down. He's getting himself 2, but can he get 3? And there it is. It's all just gonna come down, and a pinch, as Disco would call it, with all the picks, but not enough for NIX with this getting diffused. That's gonna go 7-5. I was assuming that the attackers were gonna take that, but now the defense set back.
It's also really just great from Zambi. I can't sing this guy's praises enough on Haven, but, you know, they tried to push into B. NIX tried to push into B, and they tried to go for a fake plant because they wanted to draw out that rolling thunder from Zambi, but Zambi was just so disciplined. He is so on point when he's playing this breach role, and did not give anything away and was able to save it for the retake on A, and that's why they're currently sitting 7-5. So now, NIX, they're in a really tricky position, because you know that Neon on defense is not the best, but not to mention Huso, still 1-9, has yet to log into the server. And it's, I mean, he's just been such a win con for this team coming up to this point. I mean, he needs to activate if they want to have a shot at bringing this back, because Zambi, Cairo, Kai, Joseph, Pond, these guys are all firing on all cylinders, and they will roll over you on this attack side, as we have seen them do time and time again.
Yeah, time and time again here. Definitely a scary moment, but with what Pond is about to do, this could definitely be a win, but he pre-fires a little bit early. That's a risk, but his team is backing him up. The nade's coming out. This is how you back up your team, and he TPs away for free. This is a trap, and it's been laid by Cairo, getting the final pick on a Hydro. They got to rotate around, and that is beautifully played. I mean, yes, he kind of baited a little bit for himself. If he managed to get the Sky, they would have rushed him for the trade, and it still would have worked out a little bit better for him, but unfortunately, he did miss that few shots.
And that is not the position that you want to be in for NIX, too. You don't even get the trade, which already doesn't favor you, but now you're just down 1 man, and Ookers is in so much control of the tempo of this round. But look at Soapy right here. He could just lose this one. Oh, he's going to take out Joseph instead and just hightail it out of there.
And hightail it, he will try to do before Kai will get the pick on the Soapy down. Beautiful pick, but is Joey gonna try to get the trade? He spots it, and this is pistol round. So no matter what goes down, someone is gonna get dropped, and it's gonna be Kai. That is the 1-for-1 trade with Cairo. Look at the flank though. Oh, he gives it away his position though. That's final tap of the gun. A little bit sad, and I think that they might still be able to take it though, because one thing is to be certain, and it's how they're going for these players. All right, a little bit of a blind. They do hit Joey with it, but Joey, he is still going down, even though he now opens his eyes to see the nade perfectly timed, doing so much damage. Last man standing, last to fall. 3 kills for Cairo, 1 for Pond.
Wow, you know, in that pistol round, I was actually a little bit concerned for Ookers on that post plant because I thought, wow, they have no garage control here. That's usually not the position that you want to be in, especially, you know, when you're in a 3v3 retake scenario where the defenders can get straight into garage. But lo and behold, they had a plan for it, and Pond was able to blind him out and allow Cairo to just get in there and grab that kill. So Ookers, they stay on top. They widen the gap in that, lead, and that's 2 for 2 in pistol rounds in this map so far. So we saw what NIX was able to do in the past. They did a lot of damage, but can they do it again in this round? It looks like they just want to go for a little bit of an A gamble here. Now, it doesn't seem that Ookers is actually heading over that way, and it could be a free C site for them, depending on how this duel goes out between Cairo and Hydro.
Yeah, Cairo and Hydro getting that pick down, and that's going to be a TP right into the Raze. He was camping it down. I'm surprised he didn't go for the knife there, but, only so much time to spend with now Cairo almost getting a triple. I thought he had it and wanted to swing on the next person, but unfortunately, Soapy is going to get that incredibly low. Huso ready for the rotate and maybe for the damage. Let's find out what's going to happen with Kai getting himself one. Using that cage. I love the cage because it gives info, and that's one thing that people forget about Cyphers. Every time you enter it, it does make a little noise. But are these two people going to do anything? I mean, they kind of have to since the second round, and I think Joe is just going to get pinched here, and yeah, Kai goes for the triple kill.
Yeah, really big round from Kai to just be able to kind of shut that down and just make sure that his team doesn't lose any more guns than they need to. So only one out of there, and that's okay because Cairo's just going to go ahead and invest into a Vandal in this round anyway. The thing that I really do like about Kai's playstyle in this is that he's so unpredictable. You never know if he's going to be lurking or if he's going to be pushing in with his team, and Cypher could just be such a wild card, and we saw the effects in that, and Huso was so afraid to rotate off of A because he's anticipating that lurk to come through, and because of that, he comes so late. So Kai really making his mark in this round, or rather in this game here as a Cypher, especially on attack side.
Especially on the attack, but right now Cairo's ready to go, bro. He's got it. He's got blinded, and he's got himself a Vandal, but with the spike now getting lost in the hands of the Omen, there's no controller. He's dead, and they got the spike, so they are going to allow it to get picked up, though, but incredibly low. We have both the Breach and the Cypher. Who is going to be able to re-hit it? We got, of course, Cairo. He wants to swing forward, try to do some damage. I don't know. It's definitely a difficult position to be in, especially since, losing Omen. That's who kind of defends you on site the most.
Yeah, and they have zero garage control again here, and we can already see how much of NIX is just built up into garage. They could initiate this retake at any second.
Any second, indeed, and the nade now coming through. Joey trying to get some damage down, and he is going to succeed, but this is a 4 against 3, and this man is completely blind. Cairo bullied by Util and Soapy. Last man standing getting the pick. I'm really excited to say that having
Didn't see.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be the best idea for these players. If they get game down, run down, ran down, anything like it, it's stressful, especially since right now, attack, yes, they don't have the neon that can kind of slide them in there, but A side's clear, and the only thing guarding it is a single chamber trip with no TP to get into heaven or rotate over for the potential pushback. So they're going to go just full-blown needing to try to stop a retake, and Cairo here, he's relying on getting a pick to get a showstopper to get some damage down. Here comes the nade, here comes the Kai, and here comes Hydro going for it. Nade now coming through, the flashbang, little bit of stall, but Soapy, he's just up close and personal. And that's going to be Huso getting one, but everybody's gunned down. Last man standing is going to be Joey. Just a clean wipe. Everyone's dead. And oh my God, attackers are taking this. Ookers, you're doing such a clean job right now.
Yeah, really, I think a big fault from NIX to just leave their flank a little bit exposed there. Joseph is able to get into a really good position and just kind of create a very strong crossfire for him and Pawn, and they're able to shut that down. I mean, it was a good effort from NIX. They got in, they used their utility just right, but unfortunately, the setup, the post-plant from Ookers has just always been so good. And once they get an idea of where you are in this map, they're just going to go to another site and they're going to get it down and they're going to hold it down. So NIX, they need an anchor. They can't just rely on a trademark to hold the site for them. They need something like Kai was doing for Ookers, you know, in their defensive half. They're going to need the anchor in Hulu and Chill, most likely, to just hold these sites down and allow his team to get those retakes in.
Yeah, and I think they might just have to do this. They, of course, the showstopper to push him forward. It is, oh, he reads it perfectly. He gets the man on the TP away. Cairo, clean shot, but here's Joey pushing forward. A little bit of util. That's going to be a headshot down. Last man is going to get runned and gunned. But I got to mention, Cairo able to shoot off the showstopper, and the chamber just teleports right into it. Amazing.
This is Rolling Thunder. So we'll have to see if they actually are able to use this to break the bank for NIX on the other side.
Yeah, trying to break that bank and trying to push these players back. Lots of things are about to go down here, but of course, it's 11-6. Lots of things are about to go, and I'm hoping that Kai is able to actually spot them before they swing, because if he gets timing, he's dead. It's just a perfect time. But look at this. He's getting one, but I mean, that's all you can really ask for that. It is a very aggressive position, and taking out that man might have sold it, because Hulu immediately getting one, Hydra the other, and Zambi with the picks. Let's see what can go down. Beautiful job. We do see the ultimate now pushing it, and everything's here to go.
Oh, questionable investment of that Rolling Thunder, I think. I don't know if that really has the effect that they want it to, and now the Flashpoint should give away their position as well as that trademark. So they're just going to have to run it to A and try and secure a plant here. But in a 2v3, this is very winnable. We have seen Zambi pull rounds like these out of a hat before, and they're just going to go ahead and plant for CT and Heaven while Pawn just kind of gets repositioned up there, anticipating the rotation, most likely through A-Link or CT from his perspective.
Yeah, and you're gonna want to find someone going through. The last time he held this, Chamber got him. He was a little bit diff there, holding this angle, doing it again. You can see he's antsy. He knows that if someone's gonna swing him, if he's moving, he's hard to hit, but he's also harder to hit someone else when you do that. Spike, of course, down for him, but now that he's blinded that, it did give away his position here. So they're gonna be looking at that when he wants to swing, and it's gonna cause Joey to get a free pick. But now the bomb is getting defused. Unbelievable! Zambi, the wall bang onto them with that collateral. What a position, and that gives them match point.
Unbelievable from Zambi there to pull that one out. I mean, I said it. I didn't think it was going to happen. I apologize to you, Zambi, if you're watching this back. I will never doubt you ever again. The angle lined up for that pawn bought him just enough time to find the lineup and bring his team to match point. And now, NIX, they are worse for wear. Broken buys across the way. They do have a Cosmic Divide available, but that's it. That's all they have at their disposal. And Ookers, they have so much more to work with.
I mean, we've seen Ookers back and back and back, but this is the best game we've seen them play. They're hitting so, like, they got an ace in map 2. They got a 4K like that. It's just dirty and beautiful at the same time. But who is going to be taking it again? We are going to be watching them now push forward, try their best to get some damage dealt. And who's actually taking it today? All right, we do have a lot of damage, but who's going to be getting this in?
Oh no.
There we go. A little bit of a dash, a little bit of damage. Defusal coming through. Who's looks like we're going to be getting this started yet again. So welcome back, everyone, to the game. Let's have some fun. Both these teams are ready. 1 second, we got to double check. I'm going to ask ours one more time. Get everybody ready for the end game. We got ours from one side. We got ours from both. Here we go. Sounds good. And let's get this going. Sorry about that for the players. Let's have some fun. A little bit push for these gamers.
Yeah, this is do or die for NIX here. They showed us that they had to take that round, but it's only going to be one more round for Ookers to finally close this out, and they're looking to get hyper aggressive. They want to run this B round back, and that's the Nightmare out on B site.
Nightmare out from B side, and of course we're going to see that ultimate coming forward, and we got Huso wanting to get onto the point, but the ult is not going to connect, and this is where we're seeing them now try their best to push it forward. So much damage going in. That's going to be a lot. Hulu and Joey with Soapy getting Zambi. Last man standing, Kai. Are you going to end the game today, or is it all over? There's one, there's two. Clean shots all around. Let's rock it, let's roll it, let's get this bread. We do know where the last two are. The spike, unfortunately, is going to be down right outside. This is a risky position to put this because it's going to get broken immediately. But, oh, that's the shot, Disco.
Yeah, it's a really good effort there from Kai, but we could see that NIX is just kind of... They figured this out a little bit, you know? And I think that instead of Ookers just trying to run back this same strat over and over again, they need to try to switch things up. I mean, we've seen that NIX, they love taking their tactical pauses. Meanwhile, Ookers yet to take one. So maybe it's now the time to take that tactical pause and try to figure out how to change things up, or who knows, screw it, they just keep running it down until it finally works. They only need to win one more round, but NIX 4 rounds away from taking us into an OT here, and we know that they're absolutely capable of pulling it off.
Absolutely capable of pulling it off here. What is going to happen now that they're trying to push forward? Of course, Hydro looking to see if he can get any damage dealt, anybody shut down, ready to rock, ready to roll, and let's see this happen. Of course, they're now in it to win it. We have a little bit of a push coming forwards, but see what happens here. Obviously, it's about Hulu getting the headshot onto Kai. That is the pick that you need, and I think that they might be able to bring this back if they could do more things like that, with Joey anchoring right around the corner. That's one, but that's not two, with Joseph getting another one down for his teammates, and here we go. Let's see if he can now continue this momentum, continue the push, continue the picks, with everybody ready to rock, roll, and center themselves. But these defenders, a little bit less HP than you'd like to see because the sky is down. Joey, can we find the 3 against 4 to seal the deal?
I mean, NIX, they have a lot of map control now. They're basically in control of this round, and as soon as Ookers decides to get out onto this site, you're going to see Hydro come around for that flank almost immediately here, and that's going to be very troublesome for them.
Very troublesome for everybody here. Just gotta get it in, gotta get what you got to push it forward. And with Hulu and Chill anchoring this back, trying to make sure that anybody who plants will get swung on, we're gonna see Joseph take down Huso, and that's what we need to see. I mean, what we're having here is NIX on the last legs. There is, again, in a 3 against 3, but the fact that they assumed that it wasn't going to be an A re-hit is terrifying for them. Cairo has the showstopper. If anything's going to stop the show, it's going to be during the final round. We are seeing all the ultimates coming through. Cairo immediately popping his ult so no one can try to push against him. And that is actually, he's going to walk right into the stun, the ult, and all the damage from Hulu. Can we see this clutch happen? A 2 against 2. I love the astral divide, but it's going to be a wall to flashbang off of. He's swinging it out, and that's going to be the end. But the bomb's ticking away, and they still have enough time. Defenders winning it again.
Man, can you just imagine if they had, if Ookers had just been able to lay for just a couple more seconds? I mean, it was so close for them, but you know, 3 rounds in a row. Now Ookers are going to be pushed back onto a little bit of an eco round here, and this is exactly what NIX need to kind of take this into a potential overtime. They're only 3 rounds away from making this happen. So if they can win this round out and just keep the momentum going and just try to carry as many of these guns into the next round as possible, they have a great shot at making this happen. But we've seen what Ookers can do on these eco rounds, and really all it takes is just one. As soon as they get those ultimates back into their hands, it could be GG for NIX.
GG for NIX indeed, and Cairo is gonna get gunned down by Soapy. How is this happening with everything that they can do? We're seeing Soapy pushing him out, the Seeker's going, and this might be one, but he takes a little bit of his damage from his own util, and the flank, that's gonna be Kai getting it down. And there's the spray. Hydro and Joey getting both Joseph and Kai. Zambi, of course, having that stinger, doing the damage, stinging everybody who's allergic to it. Who's going to plant the bomb? And who's actually going to be able to clutch this? It's so much stress necessary for them to play, but I think they will be able to do it. Of course, we do have Zambi trying to hold them back, and I think he might be able to. The spike in his hands, he's going to plant it down. I'm surprised that he hasn't picked up a bigger weapon yet. The stinger, not exactly perfect here.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be a little bit worried here about getting caught on that bad timing. And they even now so don't seem sure that this is what they want to do. So they are just going to decide to go for that A-Link plant. We've seen this not work out for them in the past. And now Zambi's just stuck on this stinger. A Vandal in the hands of Pond isn't the worst case scenario. But, I mean, Joey and Huso have a really good shot at just breaking up this post plant.
And you want to break up that post plant, especially since you still have util, you still have damage, but the spike getting planted for A-Link, it's scary to now try to push against. And Zambi, he has yet to get a better gun. He's still rocking the stinger, and with the blinds coming out, the stuns coming out, with the util coming, that's going to be the slide from Huso. Joey getting one. Zambi getting Huso down. 20 HP, but what a shot! Joey! He just knows better! I see a pocket over there, but oh my god, does he have time though? And it just barely diffuses it as well. Oh my god.
Unbelievable play from Joey there. The soul read to know exactly where Pond was going to be hiding. And I got to be honest with you, I thought that was it. I thought Pond was going to be able to clutch it out. He only had to delay for 1 more second, but he couldn't pull it out. And now NIX 1 round closer to bringing us into OT. But hey, they're back. The Ookers are back on a buy round. They do have the Nightfall available, 1 off from that Rolling Thunder. This could be the round. They decide to go for that B hit. It's been so effective for them in the past, but it looks like Huso already trying to get a little bit more information out of C Long here, and that could be just the right amount of info that NIX needs to break up and read this play out.
Yeah, and they're going to try their best to keep it going. Of course, we have a little bit of damage dealt so far. And info. We have the Fade ultimate. That could be what they need to seal the deal. Try to push them back. But let's see it happen. I like the push coming out here from the defense into sewer, making sure that if anybody tries to peek it, they will get one. It's worked out for getting a 1-for-1 trade with Kai, but the risk that they're taking here by being so close and up personal is that they might not actually get the trade because of how fast the reaction time is on these players. See this happen. A little bit of a push. Of course, this man's got it. He's got the Q. And I think he's going to just want to start satcheling. We have the smokes coming out. It's all about the Nightmare pushing in. And the Nightmare will connect to 3. That is a nade doing so much damage to Soapy. And here we go. Pond getting Joey down. And they don't check for Hulu, but Pond will. And that is a lot of bodies down. Beautiful entry for this team. Exactly what we like to see from Ookers. They could be taking it right here, right now, unless we see Hydro and Huso try again.
Yeah, but look at the position that Kai is in right now. He's so ready for this. He could destroy this entire retake.
He could, and Hydro's gonna get 1, but he's the last one alive in a 1 against 3. He doesn't want to go to the losers bracket. He doesn't want to go. This isn't Disney World. This is horror. Can we see if he's gonna clutch it? The bomb, it's ticking away faster and faster every second of the day. He gets 1, but he can't get 2, and that's gonna be the end of this game. A little bit of delay there, but oh my god, we are now going into the loser bracket. We're going to be following